live on there, but now we're streaming video. Sorry,
Nice.
video listeners, my bad. So anyways, the actual thing we wanted to talk about at the beginning, and I honestly don't remember how we got to cults, was we were going to talk about the White House requesting $58 million of an increase for their security for executive, judicial branches after Charlie Kirk shooting.
Oh,
Okay,
so this is how they're going to take away their freedoms is through Charlie Kirk.
well, it's more security for them. I don't know if this specific thing is taking away our freedoms, but I'm sure they are looking for a way to take away
Oh,
our
of
freedoms.
course
They're
they
spending
are.
more
They've got to
money
have
for
a
more
martyr.
guns.
They have to have a martyr so you can take away people's freedom.
Yep, that's true.
Well, that's what you're seeing with the. This is the way they get everyone on board with cancel culture.
Yeah, that's such a good point. Yeah, like a week ago, if you would ask somebody, should somebody get fired for what they believe? Like mostly Republicans would say no, but this week they're celebrating it.
Absolutely. They're all about canceling people for what people are saying about Charlie Kirk. Now, I think these people who are cheering on the death of Charlie Kirk are a little despicable, but I am not going to cancel them by calling their employer and trying to cancel them because I believe that they have the right to speak their mind.
Unless they're calling for more violence. Unless they want, if they say, hey, how about this person next X?
I don't know. I could see that
I
being.
could see that definitely too.
No, I could see that being free speech, but if you're an employer and you're just like, I don't want to employ someone that says that, then you're free to do that too. See what I'm saying? That's why it doesn't really matter how bad it is. It kind of doesn't matter how bad it is, unless you were saying a threat, which is a genuine, like, actual threat that you could actually take action on. Then I don't understand how. I mean, I don't believe any other type of speech ever, becomes violent. By that I mean, like, I guess fighting words aren't the same thing as a threat, but so okay, then those two, my bad, because it's been understood even since dueling times that there are some words that aren't threats but are fighting words. Like if you talk about someone's mom, obviously it's not gonna affect everyone. Everyone's not gonna be like, well, that's worth it to me to go get in a fight with you. Some people might be more calm about that than others, but there are certain things, and it's situational. Calling a black person a slur or any kind of person any kind of slur for their race or whatever, that is accepted to be fighting words, and they can initiate a fight with you without getting in trouble.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, there's a actionable threat or, a imminent threat. I forget what the word is for it. It's a threat that it's like if I'm in New Hampshire and you're in Oregon and I say, like, I'm about to go over there and slap you. That's stupid to act like that. Like, I'm sure there are tons of cops that have prosecuted people over something like that.
Yeah, I'm not saying you should have the police involved.
Yeah.
Nobody, if your employer fires you because they think what you said was wrong, well, that's their right.
Yep.
I don't want to have that. Like if you go out wearing company apparel and you get trash house drunk and you end up dancing on the bar, and everybody takes pictures and says, hey, isn't this your guy? Well, you're going to get fired.
Yep. That makes total sense to me. Another kind of exemption, I think, is anybody like with a public job. Like, I think it's gross for somebody to be like going and searching up some private person's job and being like, hey, did you know they said this about Charlie Kirk? You should fire them. But if it's like a state rep or something,
or a teacher, like
even a public school teacher,
yeah, public school teacher,
somebody
for sure.
who, like in New Hampshire at least, the Article 8 of the Constitution literally says that they have to be transparent and public and open about their jobs and everything. That's why.
Yeah, and if you're a mandatory reporter, I mean, there's things that come with being a teacher. If you don't want to be under that scrutiny, don't be a teacher, right? There's things that you have to do in order to do those jobs.
I agree. So I think that, like, if you found a state rep said something bad about Charlie Kirk and it's worth it to you to start a campaign to get him, like, kicked out, I don't even find that immoral, because it's like they're a politician anyway. They're supposed to be, like, subservient to you, but they don't think that. They think that
no,
you're
the politician
slave caste.
thinks that they get to tell you what to do and you've got to serve them, when in reality it's supposed to be the other way around. However, the American people have seemed to have forgot that these people are supposed to serve you.
We traded liberty for securities.
Mm-hmm.
And we do it every time these sorts of things happen. Every single time. I remember being alive right after 9/11. I was this rah-rah patriot guy for a bit, and then I started learning about the Patriot Act, and I realized, we as Americans are really in trouble. Because we've allowed an organization calling itself government to begin taking away our liberties. And Edward Snowden talked about this, and people deemed him a traitor.
I agree with you, Riley, and I could totally see this article about how the White House is requesting $58 million. Maybe the way they get that to become a situation where they're taking our freedom away is just like, first they're like displaying to us, like, see, stuff is really serious out there. We need $58 million and more security. I could totally see them trying to
increase their defense spending after January 6th too for personal security for all these people.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, it seems like they ain't, whatever they can do to increase their spending, they're going to do it. You never let a good tragedy go to waste.
Yep. Well, we do have a caller on the line, so I'm going to go to the caller. Dave Ridley in Colorado, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Have you guys been following the Robert LaMontagne case?
Only a little bit. I saw that his daughter came out in support of him, and that's pretty cool.
Yes, assuming he's innocent. And, people are supposed to be assumed innocent until proven guilty.
That's what we're told.
LaMontagne was charged with abusing his children back in 1980, I guess 1990.
Mm-hmm. I guess.
This was a Keene case. He lives in Vermont now, but he's a longtime friend of the Free State Project, and he has taken he's trying to get his conviction overturned. He never actually admitted to anything. But even if he was guilty of something, this is interesting and I think a source of concern. Apparently, he's being charged with talking about the case.
Oh, yes. Okay, I didn't know if this was like a big thing yet. Yeah, apparently there was some kind of I don't have any like inside information, but I heard a little bit about this that from the rumor mill that there was something not public that he made public, and he didn't, like, I don't know if he didn't mean to or what. I don't know if he's listening and he wants to call in and defend himself. Maybe that'd be a bad idea for him right now, because yeah, I did hear about that, but I didn't know they were charging him.
So this is an article from indepthnh.org. And the reporter is no friend of liberty and does not ever take a knee-jerk, does not take a pro-liberty position automatically. He has to be really dragged into it. But he says, quote, LaMontagne's supposed new crime is talking about the information withheld from his defense, unquote.
Wow.
So, yeah. So this apparently he mentioned this on a chat group or something like that. And I guess he's been fighting for the last 2 years to get access to records, and he's been assisted by an ex-cop, Brad Jardis, who is also a friend of the Free Staters, who represented him for free in court, at least at first. Mm-hmm. And I think LaMontagne is trying to get a professional attorney now.
Interesting. Yeah.
But you brought up I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You brought up an important point that the people, at least one of the people that he was accused of abusing, is the one who's going to court with him and trying to prove him innocent. Does that make sense?
Yep, it was one of his daughters, so he was accused of like harming his kids, maybe his wife too, in the 80s, and he actually did do 10 years or more in jail. And one of his daughters that they said was abused, she came out and said like, oh, I was kind of like lied to as a kid, and I don't think my dad did it, and I'm kind of happy for him for that. More Free Talk Live coming up, 603-283-6160. Thanks for the call, Ridley. 603-283-6160. More Free Talk Live coming up.
Hey, you are going to love the movie Victimless Crime Spree. It's hilarious, heartwarming, and carries a ton of inspiring freedom messages. Feeling down about the lack of liberty in your life? You need to put on this film with some friends and have a good laugh. It's a true story about me and my friends in New Hampshire living free, singing, dancing, and getting arrested. Of course, it's all on video, and the bad guys, the cops, judges, bailiffs, and sheriffs, they all play their part like it's out of a movie or something. You would think we scripted the whole thing, but it's real life. Go ahead and have a watch, and if it's been a while, have another look. I guarantee you'll notice things now that you didn't notice before. And the best part is that you're going to walk away feeling a renewed sense of your own power. You are the master of your destiny, and you will be free in your lifetime. Victimless Crime Spree.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Tony Waterman, and this is the Week in Review. This week was dominated by the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk on a university campus in Utah on Wednesday. Kirk was an icon of the MAGA movement and a close ally of President Donald Trump. After a 33-hour manhunt, a suspect was arrested and identified as 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. FSN's Simon Marks filed this report.
The president appeared in the studio of Fox News in New York to announce a breakthrough in the search for the killer of his friend Charlie Kirk.
I think with a high degree of certainty, we have him in custody, right? In custody.
He indicated that a priest worked with the suspect's father to secure his surrender.
A father got involved, namely his father, and said, we got to go in. And they drove into the police headquarters, and he's there now.
There had been growing pressure on the FBI to find the college-age gunman who was seen fleeing from a rooftop overlooking Charlie Kirk's event.
Israel this week attacked Hamas leaders inside Qatar, which has been helping to mediate ceasefire negotiations. President Trump issued a rare rebuke to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, telling reporters he wasn't thrilled about the way the attacks went down. In an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council, Qatar's prime minister accused Israel's government of not caring about the hostages held by Hamas, but vowed to continue pushing for a ceasefire in Gaza. FSN's Blake Sifton reports from Tel Aviv.
The Security Council issued a joint statement expressing deep concern over the strike, emphasizing de-escalation and recognizing what it called the vital role Qatar has played in mediation efforts. Meanwhile, Israel's ambassador to the UN reiterated warnings that Israel could target Hamas and Qatar again. Either Qatar condemns Hamas, expels Hamas, and brings Hamas to justice, or Israel will, he said.
The Jeffrey Epstein saga continued to grab headlines this week. The UK ambassador to the US, Peter Mandelson, was sacked on Thursday after new information emerged about his relationship with Epstein, a convicted sex offender accused of trafficking young girls. FSN's Kate Fisher has more.
US lawmakers released a number of documents this week, including a letter from Peter Mandelson in which he called the disgraced financier his best pal. Lord Mandelson served as a key link between UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer and Donald Trump and has been credited with helping the UK to escape the worst of the Trump tariffs. But the timing of this is diplomatically awkward for the special relationship, given that President Trump will travel to the UK for a state visit next week.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
Don't miss a moment of Free Talk Live. Get our archives daily via our podcast at feeds.freetalklive.com.
It's Free Talk Live. Welcome back. 603-283-6160 is the phone number. That's 603-283-6160 to call in and bring up whatever's on your mind. You can change the subject. You can tell us we're wrong. It doesn't matter because that's what Free Talk Live is all about. And I'd like to thank Alex for being an amplifier with us here at Free Talk Live. That means that Alex went to amps.freetalklive.com and signed up to support the show. AMPS stands for Advertise, Market, Promote, and Support. Thanks again to Alex and everyone who supports us. And again, that's amps.freetalklive.com if you'd like to check out the perks and benefits of becoming an amplifier. With you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie.
Angelo.
Riley.
And in the last segment, we started teasing, but not exactly getting into this article from CBSNews.com. The White House is requesting $58 million to increase security for the executive and judicial branches. I guess, forget the legislative. After Charlie Kirk shooting, sources say.
They just put a Secret Service individual on leave for the things he said about Charlie Kirk.
Oh, wow.
Well, that seems a little deserved as far as like if
Don't criticize our scapegoat.
If my job was security anywhere, like public or not, and I was saying like, oh, good thing that guy got shot.
Well, it sounds like if your job is to protect the guy who was friends with the guy that got shot, you also sound like the kind of guy that would happen to miss somebody crawling on a roof 150 yards away from the guy you're supposed to be protecting.
That's why I don't understand why Trump is just okay with Secret Service anyway. Like, he should just only have his own
at this point,
private.
he should hire private security.
Apparently, he did have his own private security, but it was a whole thing when he was becoming president. He was like, okay, now I'm going to take Secret Service, and everybody was like, that seems stupid. But he did fire, or they fired beforehand some of the people involved from when he got assassinated, almost assassinated, I mean.
Yeah, but if the sentiment's obviously within the force.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I still don't think I would be okay with it, but there was like a whole big to-do about it. They're like, well, he's going to fire his private, but it's fine because the one woman who's totally the whole person that made a mistake got fired, or it might have been like a couple people, I don't know. So the Trump administration is sending a $58 million request to Congress to increase security for the executive and judicial branches in the wake of the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. I wonder why the judicial, I don't know.
Judges, probably.
Well, I know, but like, why are they both getting, like, I haven't heard any talk about judges. Oh, maybe, I mean, the only place I've heard talk about judges that people are angry at is in the Irina, and there's no way I'm going to be able to say her last name, the Ukrainian refugee living in North Carolina who got stabbed to death on public transport.
Well, they're probably thinking about like Supreme Court justices.
Well, people were pissed off because the person who was the judge that let her murderer out was never, not only not elected, but didn't even pass the bar exam and was a magistrate judge in North Carolina. How is that even okay?
How is that even legal?
I thought you like definitely had to be a lawyer.
Yeah,
right.
I thought that was a prerequisite to.
Nope, I'm pretty sure this person wasn't a lawyer at all, but it specifically said never pass the bar exam. So I mean, like, yeah, that's when you become.
Well,
a lawyer,
there's some states that have. How do I say this? It's almost like it's apprenticeship programs. Mm-hmm. So they have some states doctors can do, instead of like a residency or like going to medical school, they just get taught by a doctor in a hospital, and it's like you're on the job.
Shadowing.
Yeah, shadowing. And then eventually
I wonder if that's
you get
better
like
than doing clinicals and things
title
like that.
of doctor. And I think you can do the same in Oregon. You can do the same thing with lawyering now. You can just become like an apprentice.
Yeah, Kim Kardashian
lawyer.
did it in California.
Well, but you don't have to pass the bar.
Mm-hmm.
You just get like accredited.
Mm-hmm.
I think in some ways that'd be a lot better because then people could get hands-on experience directly instead of having to go through a school.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then you get a buddy system and it turns into a bunch of activist judges.
I just would rather, I don't know, the whole thing go away, but whatever. Like when it comes to a doctor, I feel like it's more, like it sounds like a good thing. When it comes to lawyers, I'm like, yeah, whatever. They're just going to be punks anyway. I never say punk, so I couldn't say what I wanted to say, so it sounded silly.
Punk's a good one.
The Trump administration is sending a $58 million request to Congress to increase security for the executive and judicial branches in the wake of the killing of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Multiple sources familiar with the matter told CBS News Sunday. Punchbowl was the first to report the news. What's that, Riley?
Punchbowl is a reputable news source. A reputable news source, ladies and gentlemen.
I've never heard that in my life.
Neither have I.
Punchbowl?
I've heard of punch bowls, and I know what they're used for, but...
No, I've heard of Punchbowl news.
I have not heard of them.
Like I think it's supposed to be like a BuzzFeed knockoff almost.
That's hilarious. They're the first to report the news. A White House official confirmed the extra funds would be directed to the U.S. Marshals Service and would also include enhanced protection for Supreme Court justices, like you said. Additionally, the Trump administration expressed support for increased funding to protect congressional lawmakers, but may defer to the legislative branch on that. Okay, so that's why they're just saying forget the legislative branch. This all comes ahead of a September 30th government funding deadline. CBS News previously reported on a new pilot program for House members that launched in August that provides an extra allowance for members to hire personal security or make upgrades at home. House Speaker Mike Johnson said late this week, a deliberate and thorough review of the program is underway. The Senate is also considering additional safety precautions. We've got to protect people who run for public office, or no one will, and that's heavy on our hearts and minds. As we also, work through the trauma of what happened, Johnson told reporters Thursday. I'm not making fun of people who are traumatized. I'm making fun of the fact that I know they're lying to get money.
Oh, yeah. They're always lying to get money. They want to use trauma and emotions just like the left did.
Yeah, they don't have emotions.
Oh, they're politicians,
okay,
of course
okay.
not.
So
okay, exactly.
I figured out what Punch Bowl means.
What?
Punch Bowl refers to the Secret Service's nickname for the U.S. Capitol building. And I think it's because red and blue mixed make like a purple, so it's like a punch.
Oh.
But they actually reported it?
No, Punch Bowl News just uses the name from the Secret Service nickname is the Punch Bowl is for the Capitol building. So Punch Bowl News is just Capitol building news, like Capitol News, based out of D.C. They're supposed to be nonpartisan.
It sounds so silly, to be honest.
Yeah, it does sound silly, but
like
I had to
news.
do some.
So it says U.S. Capitol Police Chief Michael Sullivan told CBS News that the department expects to track more than 14,000 threats to members by the end of the year, significantly outpacing previous years. So they're getting that many more threats. Sullivan said U.S. CP will be operating at a heightened posture going forward. Yeah, honestly, I can see how this is already taking away our rights. You're right, Riley.
It's concerning to me that people are going to allow this to happen again and again.
Yep.
Well, because it's never about the seeking truth. It's all about revenge. So you sent the FBI after me because you sent the FBI after parents for wanting to know what their kids are doing in school. So we're going to send the FBI after you for tweeting something mean about Charlie Kirk's death. It's a tit for a tat, eye for an eye. And violence that begets violence.
And that's the horrifying part of it is we always choose violence, Mr. and Mrs. America. Why do we always choose violence?
It seems like when your side is empowered that you'll be the one to get to go handpick who goes to the asylums if you say, well, open the asylums, or handpick the people that the Secret Service goes after, whatever it is. But no, that doesn't happen. The government, who is not responsible to you and will not take your directives, gets to choose.
Well, that's what they did in Soviet Russia. If you went against the party whose mind changed every day, right? Eventually it's so indecipherable that it doesn't matter what you believe, the party can pick something out and say that non-adherence to the party is somehow a mental issue and just throw you in the asylum too. And it doesn't matter who's in power, right? If non-adherence to the party could get you excommunicated to prison is not a power that any governing body should wield.
And the worst prisons in the history of man. Not even just a little bit bad. Not just like the United States type of prison that we have right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gulags were. I advise anybody who hasn't to read the Gulag Archipelago.
I have not read that yet. I probably should. But it's interesting to me that the United States of America is the most incarcerated nation on the planet.
Yep.
And we're supposed to be the best country on earth. And we have the most incarcerated people. Really?
Yep.
What makes us the best country on earth? That's what I want to know.
Well, I think the United States is still the best country on earth because it has the most freedom. If I thought there was another place with more freedom, I would be there.
Yeah, show me another country that has built into their founding documents the ability to own firearms.
Now, if we're going by that metric, I would tend to agree with you because it's the only country I know of in the world that allows people to keep and bear arms.
Yeah, built into its founding.
Yeah,
enshrined into its founding documents. It's the only country. So I think even just on that merit alone, that's the only country where de facto you have the right to defend yourself from being harmed. You can't. We do a lot of terrible things, but there really is nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
I really think there's nowhere else to go that's better, really. And if you look at during COVID, that was, a test run enough to show me that the United States is the best place to go. Like, even, like, so many libertarians want to tell me, like, not let's go, but, like, Argentina is the place to go. And it's like, how could you possibly say that when they had one of the longest, hardest lockdowns? It's like, I mean, I believe that after that craziness and after hyperinflation, yeah, young people were pissed off enough to elect Milei once, but I'm not trying to put a damper on it. I hope things get better and better there. But right now, I can't possibly think, going and living among people who thought it was fine to live in lockdowns, like, months and months and months after the rest of the world is like the best place to be. I can't see that
until I know the ability to protect the life of myself and my loved ones from harm is encased in stone. Mm-hmm. I do not see a reason to live anywhere else.
And currently in Argentina, even Milei is like, oh no, I'm not even going to touch the gun issue because that would get him like not reelected. That's how much people there hate guns. It's so stupid. It's like, I feel like it's ridiculously easy to turn a bunch of people into people who hate guns just by framing things
media brainwashing.
Wrong. Yep, it's brainwashing.
Oh yeah, and I fully believe in the right to keep and bear arms, but that doesn't mean I'm going to go out and buy a gun tomorrow because I believe in being responsible for myself.
Yep. And the other thing is, like, you can also choose to live in community with people.
Oh yeah, and I do, and that makes me feel really happy to be in a community that believes in the right to keep and bear arms.
But if you were in Argentina in 2020, you'd only be allowed to choose like 10 people around you or whatever.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm just like, right now I still think it's New Hampshire. It's like, yeah.
10 people around you that are disarmed.
Yeah.
These aren't even people that can help defend, sharpen sticks.
Yeah, the thieves are armed, so because they have a huge problem with the thievery.
Yeah, well, it's because they're so close to the cartels in South America. I mean, they probably all the bad guys probably have AKs and machine guns and.
I don't know, honestly. Well, I don't know. I heard that it's mostly like knife
crime in Argentina.
Yeah, well, maybe not actual stabbings, but knife threats for stealing.
Well, that's what they do.
Is, like,
England's having the same issues. So.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. England had the big 1 million people protest. I was like, what? That seems why them?
For
Charlie Kirk.
They're sick of mass immigrations killing them.
Yeah, but I just feel like Americans are sick of that too, and we didn't have any 1 million people in the streets. It's kind of crazy.
Well, if you really want to talk about by their own metric, by the woke metric, if you want to decolonize and get all of the European influence out of like the Middle East and Africa, then Europeans would like to have some place to be that's for them. And like Europe, Britain is where the British come from, right? That's their homeland. It's not racist to be white in Britain. That's just where the white people come from, is there. So they're having a lot of issues with, like, they're getting in trouble for flying the flag of Britain.
I don't even know, honestly, if I believe
that Scottish girl got arrested.
Yeah, but that's exactly what I was going to say. I don't even know if I believe that there's really that many people pissed off. Like, all the people I saw saying, you mean that girl that was carrying a weapon? I'm glad she got arrested. Everyone saying that was the people from the UK. Like, the people saying, like, this is ridiculous. They don't believe in the Americans.
Keep in arms.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They genuinely don't believe in it.
They think the government should
eventually the back breaks.
What?
Eventually the back breaks.
Yeah, but why aren't they doing anything for real? You know what I mean? Whenever I see 1 million people protest, I'm like, fake people, honestly.
You think so? You think it's just
Did you
NPCs?
know the leader of that thing, which I have an article about? His name was Tommy Robinson. So Robin, the tranny, shot up the Minnesota church 2 weeks ago. Then Tyler Robinson shoots Charlie Kirk, and then Tommy Robinson is now leading a protest where a bunch of people got arrested in London. It just is too weird. The name Robinson means a bright, shining flame. So I was like, oh, they're all glowing. That must be what it is. See what I'm saying?
That's an interesting take. I've never heard that one before.
By glowing, I mean, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's
glowy.
Like, yeah, online people people will say, like, you're looking glowy and you're glowing.
Yeah, it just means you're
meaning
fed.
That you're standing out, meaning you're
interesting. Okay.
fed.
I understand where you're
glowing.
going.
It's
now.
supposed to be like a neon sign. You have a neon sign pointing to you saying, I am federal agent. Don't interact with me online. I'll get you arrested.
Yeah, it's like if somebody walks up to your group and they're like, so, anybody want to cut off a piece of my gun? Whatever, the heck
Or
of
like, hey, you guys, you want to go commit a felony? I barely know you guys. Let's go do horrendous stuff in the name of
liberty.
Yeah, that sounds like a horrible idea.
Or insert whatever in the name of candy canes. And if he can get enough people to go along with doing violence in the name of candy canes, he'll arrest all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, yeah.
So, and one thing about the guy who led the protest, Tommy Robinson, that's not his real name. Not his real first or last name.
What is his real name?
I don't have it right in front of me, because I don't have the guy that got... I don't have the article right in front of me because we were about to get into this other one about... It is related to the Charlie Kirk thing. I'm sorry if people are tired of hearing about the Charlie Kirk thing, but I really think most people are still kind of thinking about it. I think the type of people that are like...
It's a huge story, and of course a lot of people are thinking about it.
A lot of people...
It's a huge...
Holy crap.
Huge public event. It's like a public execution.
Mm-hmm.
His name's Stephen Christopher Yaxley Lennon.
Oh, yeah, okay, Yaxley Lennon.
Wow.
Thought that was so
That's
weird.
a long name.
I haven't done any name
Better known
meetings.
as Tommy Robinson.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's a totally different name. So it's just like, I'm just going to choose this name, Tommy. And Thomas means twin. It's Didymus in Greek. It means Thomas, that like translated to Thomas. And that's how we have Thomas in
He's
the book.
also known as Andrew McMaster, Paul Harris Wayne, and King Stephen Lennon. I don't know what the King Stephen Lennon thing is.
He doesn't have any name with Ringo in it?
No.
He has all the other ones?
Yeah.
But anyways, I looked up I didn't have to look it up. I already know Thomas means twin. And it's like saying, well, there was Robin, then there was Robin's son because he came next, and then this one's a twin of Robin. I don't know. It just seems to me like a pretty solid and absolutely true conspiracy theory that I came up with. But still, I think I do think it's weird that there are so many Robins all of a sudden. So anyways, this from unheard.com, and that's herd spelled like a herd of cattle.
Okay.
I think on purpose. I've never heard of this place. Charlie Kirk death supercharges right-wing cancel culture. That's something we talked about the Charlie Kirk thing yesterday. We talked about, and this is when I first saw it, but one thing we didn't talk about was this growing sentiment among right-wingers that, it's totally fine to get somebody fired for their opinions now. To be fair, the opinions went from, people wanting to get you fired for saying that, like, I don't think children should have their genitals mutilated, and then all of a sudden the opinions are like, good, that person you like died. I hope that his wife dies too, So to be fair, I genuinely believe these things that people are saying are more like horrendous, but
I mean, didn't they just try to? Doesn't Alex Jones owe some people's mothers billions of dollars for stuff he said online?
Oh yeah,
and that's not right, in my opinion.
I agree.
But that's what I'm just getting at is that, like, hey, cancel culture, it doesn't discriminate. If once I think they're just trying to bring us down to that level, right? They want everybody to live within this cancel culture world because then we've lost.
Yep.
Yes, and the right are going to cancel just like the left, and it's going to get worse and worse. And
that's not what Charlie would have wanted.
No, I agree with you there. I was telling you before the show, Angelo, that I believe that Charlie is a principled man, and I can see where he's coming from. I may not agree with him on everything. In fact, I think he and I would not see liberty the same way. But he and I would at least sit down and have a conversation about it. And I think that's what I can appreciate about Charlie.
Yeah.
The rest of the world doesn't want to have a conversation. They would just want to bully you into making you think the way they think.
That's so true. It's so annoying that leftists, for the most part, are like the uglier, weaker, lamer class that just realized when they grew up, they were like, I'm going to try a new way to bully people. Like, I got bullied as a kid, and now I'm going to try to think of a way to bully people that involves, you have to think like me. And I'm going to create these groups based on, like, nothing natural. Like, well, everybody in this group is in theater. You know what I mean? Like, Hollywood. Those are a bunch of losers that have faked a way to popularity to fake a way to bully people.
No, that's why that's why in the movies they made the nerds the winners.
I can see that.
all the time. The losers
true.
come out as the winners all the time. The guy who plays football is an idiot. And
He's
he's
always
just a dumb
stupid,
jock, and he'll never amount to anything. Dude, most of the athletes I knew went to college and are smart and put together, and it takes work to show up on time. It takes work to go to class. It takes work to be productive. It takes work to juggle all those things. I mean,
There's definitely also a lot of movies like trying to make like stoners cool too.
yeah,
And I'm
Stevie
not saying-
Stoner's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No,
They're-
it's just
they
the
like
losers
tried to
went
make
and
all
made
the- yeah.
made shows where it's self-insertism. It's not Rambo. It's Seth Rogen sitting on the couch, stoned, being an idiot,
Yep.
which he's been doing since high school.
And then gets all the girls at the end.
and then gets all the girls at the end of the movie.
Yeah, that's such a good point. I really do believe that though, that like for the most part, it's like these people are just people who can't win on their own merit, so they like create their own crappy ways to win on their own merit, and they are the bullies. It's like the way that leftists bully you is they act like, oh, you don't agree with me? Oh, ew. But it's not an actual argument. Never is.
Yeah. It's just a way for them to attack
It's
you.
mean
and-
girling. They mean girl
Yeah.
you as if they have some sort of
Power.
or superiority. It's literally sitting on a high horse
Yeah.
with their nose in the air.
Yep.
It's victim mentality. It's the reverse of some activities where you like feel I'm superior to you. And now it's
Victimhood is
But it's
viewed as
both.
some kind of virtue.
Somehow I'm superior and a victim.
Yeah,
It's both.
Well, because they view victimhood as a virtue.
Mm-hmm.
They don't view it as a tragedy. If you're not a victim, you're not virtuous.
Mm-hmm.
If the world hasn't hurt you enough, suddenly you don't mean as much as I do because I have.
And the other thing
more
about that is
pain.
like it's like ridiculous to act like anybody can sit there and be like, well, the world hasn't hurt you as much as it hurt me. Like you don't know everyone's story.
Like
Yeah.
for me, I'm sure I could pretend to be a victim. Like I walk from my house to downtown Keene, and I got lost a little bit along the way, but I was able to find help.
Did you do that today?
Yeah,
Oh, you walked alone?
I did.
Wow, congrats.
Thank you. And I could be like, oh my gosh, I got lost on the way to our social gathering today, and I should feel terrified and a victim, but I didn't because I found my way there.
That's awesome.
Eventually. And that's the thing is I'm able to ask for help. I'm able to figure out how to get oriented to where I need to be. And that's really important for me as a blind person to be able to do. And some of these people that are online perpetually terrified of the world and making you fall into the trap of being angry at everything and everybody and, propping up the victim, they're the same people that won't leave their house. But here I am. I've moved 3,000 miles from my family. And I'm here in New Hampshire. And I'm blind.
I think it does come all down to like the personality, like the spirit of the person. Like, do you want to, if you just like reveled in being taken care of, you'd probably be like 500 pounds and stuck in your parents' house with them like waiting on you hand and foot, but you didn't want that,
No.
Well, it comes back to the infantilization of American youth.
And the person who falls for it is the type of person that like deep down inside they like that feeling. And it's really messed up. More Free Talk Live coming up. What do you think about right-wing cancel culture? Do you think that it's just as bad or the same as left-wing cancel culture? More Free Talk Live coming up. 603-283-6160.
This hour of Free Talk Live is brought to you by Dash Digital Cash. Dash is the cryptocurrency designed to be used for spending. Tired of the ever-inflating US dollar? You can live your life on Dash instead with some handy websites. BitRefill.com has been accepting Dash for years and has a ton of big-name retailers and brands including grocers, gas stations, phone refills, Amazon, and even prepaid MasterCards. Plus, many of their gift cards are available at a discount. But what about paying your bills? Spritz.finance can do that, and they can send dollars to your bank account in case you still need those for some reason. Dash is one of the oldest cryptocurrencies and is widely available on exchanges, including the decentralized Maya protocol, and in multi-crypto wallets. It's easy to get and use Dash. Start by learning more at Dash.org. Thanks to the Dash DAO for sending us 32 Dash per month to promote Dash on the air. Visit Dash.org to learn about Dash. Dash.org. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. Tired of cancel culture? Sick of mega tech corporations holding an axe over your head? Join the LRN.FM Matrix chat server. It's self-hosted, so no one else can tell us what to do or say. Don't like the existing channels? You can make your own. You can even connect into some of our channels from other Matrix servers. It's federated. For the full LRN.FM Matrix experience, though, you should join our server via the step-by-step instructions at chat.lrn.fm. Chat.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Tony Waterman, and this is the Week in Review. This week was dominated by the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk on a university campus in Utah on Wednesday. Kirk was an icon of the MAGA movement and a close ally of President Donald Trump. After a 33-hour manhunt, a suspect was arrested and identified as 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. Authorities say he had expressed disdain for Kirk, whose viewpoints are at times controversial. FSN's Simon Marks filed this report.
The president appeared in the studio of Fox News in New York to announce a breakthrough in the search for the killer of his friend Charlie Kirk.
I think with a high degree of certainty, we have him in custody. Right? In custody.
He indicated that a priest worked with the suspect's father to secure his surrender.
A father got involved, namely his father, and said, "We got to go in," and they drove into the police headquarters, and he's there now.
There had been growing pressure on the FBI to find the college-age gunman who was seen fleeing from a rooftop overlooking Charlie Kirk's event.
Israel this week attacked Hamas leaders inside Qatar, which has been helping to mediate ceasefire negotiations. President Trump issued a rare rebuke to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, telling reporters he wasn't thrilled about the way the attacks went down. In an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council, Qatar's prime minister accused Israel's government of not caring about the hostages held by Hamas, but vowed to continue pushing for a ceasefire in Gaza. FSN's Blake Sifton reports from Tel Aviv.
The Security Council issued a joint statement expressing deep concern over the strike, emphasizing de-escalation and recognizing what it called the vital role Qatar has played in mediation efforts. Meanwhile, Israel's ambassador to the UN reiterated warnings that Israel could target Hamas and Qatar again. Either Qatar condemns Hamas, expels Hamas, and brings Hamas to justice, or Israel will, he said.
The Jeffrey Epstein saga continued to grab headlines this week. The UK ambassador to the US, Peter Mandelson, was sacked on Thursday after new information emerged about his relationship with Epstein, a convicted sex offender accused of trafficking young girls. FSN's Kate Fisher has more.
US lawmakers released a number of documents this week, including a letter from Peter Mandelson in which he called the disgraced financier his best pal. Lord Mandelson served as a key link between UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer and Donald Trump and has been credited with helping the UK to escape the worst of the Trump tariffs. But the timing of this is diplomatically awkward for the special relationship, given that President Trump will travel to the UK for a state visit next week.
9 months after leaving the White House, former Vice President Kamala Harris let it be known how she really feels about her boss running for re-election. She has called it reckless that Democrats, including herself, deferred to former President Joe Biden's decision to seek re-election. In a new book, Harris says it was a mistake not to challenge his run despite his advanced age. FSN's Ira Spitzer reports.
An excerpt from Kamala Harris's upcoming memoir, 107 Days, published in The Atlantic magazine, offers her bluntest reflection yet on Biden's failed 2024 campaign. She writes that Democrats were wrong to cede the choice to what she called an individual's ego. Harris, who went on to replace Biden as the Democratic nominee in a condensed campaign, is the latest prominent Democrat to second-guess his re-election bid, joining others like former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg.
Elon Musk was dethroned as the world's richest person this week, eclipsed by Oracle co-founder Larry Ellison. At least temporarily. Shares of Ellison's software company skyrocketed more than 40% on Wednesday, propelled by heady growth in artificial intelligence. At one point, Ellison's net worth closed in on $400 billion, surpassing Musk as the world's richest person, a title the Tesla CEO has held for nearly a year. Ellison's wealth is largely linked to Oracle, which posted what is being described as astonishing quarterly results. The software company signed 4 multi-billion-dollar contracts last quarter, riding the AI boom. And that was Feature Story News' Week in Review. Tony Waterman reporting.
A report confirms that many Iraqis are still holding a petty grudge about the U.S. invasion. An advanced alien civilization discovers an uninhabitable planet, and a single woman has a Facebook profile picture with her sister. This is the Onion Week in Review. A groundbreaking study published Monday in the Journal of the American Medical Association confirmed that it is impossible to lose weight. No one has ever done it, and those who are trying should give up immediately. Researchers said that findings conclusively prove that shedding excess weight has never happened, changing your physical appearance is impossible, and that all sorts of exercises, personal training regimens, and diets will never, ever work.
Well, our test results conclusively prove that if you're going to the gym to lose weight, you will fail. You could work out every day and eat nothing, and you still wouldn't lose an ounce. Skinny people will stay skinny. Overweight people will be overweight. That's just how it is.
In other news, an area man is outraged his private information is being collected by someone other than advertisers. And a crowd cheers as this 93-year-old up finally graduates from college.
This is the Onion News Network.
We're still not sure why you'd want to watch, but our video feed is streaming nightly for free at cam.freetalklive.com. Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. The number to get in on the phone with us is 603-283-6160. That's 603-283-6160. Free Talk Live is brought to you by LibertyMinded.com. Official Free Talk Live gear like t-shirts and hoodies are available at LibertyMinded.com. Plus, you'll find a unique collection of cool and funny liberty-oriented clothing at LibertyMinded.com. That's LibertyMinded.com. And with you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie,
Angelo,
and Riley.
And we have a caller on the line, so I think we should just get right into the phones. Before, in the last segment, we were talking about the Charlie Kirk death supercharging right-wing cancel culture. Skeeter in California, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
You know, the right to bear arms that you praise the U.S. for is a positive right provided by democracy, right? And this whole criticism about the victim.
No, it's actually not. It shall not be infringed. So it's not a positive right. It's not. You have a right to a gun. If someone said you have a right to a gun, like everyone owes you a gun, someone owes you a gun, that's a positive right. But shall not be infringed means that bearing arms is a human activity that shall not be infringed on. So you're wrong. So you have anything to say about being wrong?
It means government will step in if I try to infringe those rights. Enforcement is what gives.
You'd be doing something wrong, meaning. But that doesn't have anything to do with whether or not the right is positive or negative. So,
no, the enforcement provided by democracy.
I'm pretty sure it's not talking about a random person disarming you, but it's talking about the government and it cannot infringe on it.
Yeah, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights is designed as a limitation to what the federal government can pass laws for. That's the entire Constitution, is the outline of how the federal government operates. And they added the Bill of Rights because they said, oh, there's things we forgot to put in the Constitution that we're going to add in as an addendum, limiting.
It's not just they're not just restrictions for government. They're restrictions to all citizens of the republic. I cannot
Nope, that's wrong. That's wrong. Here's how you're wrong. Nope, you're wrong. I'm going to explain to you how you're wrong. You made a statement, now I'm going to respond. It's not a restriction on just the people who live here, because then the freedom of speech would mean that I can't fire someone for something they say. I absolutely can. And it's not, I'm never going to get taken to court for firing someone for something they say, unless I live in some commie state that specifically says you can't do that because you live in our state. But that is not against federal law. Nobody would get taken to court and they'd say First Amendment, Bonnie. No, that's not how it works.
Yeah. So, anyways, they'll enforce even your right to speak in public if someone were to try to infringe upon that. If a private citizen were to try to infringe upon that, firing somebody.
Nope, that's not true. Nobody has ever gotten. Right? Nobody has ever won something saying this other person infringed on my right. Like on Facebook, they just say, they have ruled over and over again, well, it's Facebook's platform.
That's a private.
Exactly. That's what my point is, that private people aren't getting in trouble for infringing on your rights. It's only the government that is not allowed to infringe on your right to free speech.
How does a private person infringe on my ability to bear arms? If somebody comes into my house and tries to take my gun,
that's just theft.
No, I just use it.
Well, yeah, but also
that too.
That's why you
have the right to defend yourself. You have the right to defend your life, liberty, and property.
There's negative rights don't make any sense. They're empty. They're conceptually
exactly,
empty
and
enforcement.
You're just wrong about it. It's not a negative right. I mean, it's not a positive right. It's not a positive right that you're issued government issued guns or something like that, and it's like I have the right to have a gun. It's you have the right to bear something that you already own, and nobody in the government's allowed to go take it from you.
Yeah, and that's enforced with the government laws, right? But all of it, right? It doesn't mean anything. Your right to your property.
It doesn't mean anything that we've proven to you that this only applies to the government.
Well, I'm just trying to say
that it's not a positive right.
Are the only. Well, anyways, positive rights are the only things that make sense. Negative rights don't exist, and even if they did, they're conceptually empty without enforcement.
It's really stupid.
Wouldn't you just call a negative right like a responsibility? Isn't that the trade-off to having certain freedoms? Is you have extra responsibilities that come with?
Absolutely, I think that should be the trade-off.
Wasn't how?
I don't know if it's a synonym, but I would say that negative rights are this is what the government can't infringe on, but positive rights are slavery. Because if I say, oh, everybody has the right to have a gun, that means that I'm enslaving the gun manufacturers and the gun sellers and everybody who has to work to get you a gun. If I say everybody has the right to health care, then I'm enslaving all the doctors and nurses and everything. So that's all that positive rights are, is slavery. And the government doesn't actually create rights themselves.
No, they're inalienable. That's the whole point. They're supposed to exist outside of the functions of government as a whole.
I'd just like to remind the listeners and potential callers that we only yell at Skeeter because he's an idiot and he doesn't take any kind of criticism.
He calls him about the same things over and over again.
But it's not just that. Like today was a bit different than what he normally calls about. Yeah. It's like clearly we demonstrated to him that he was wrong and he doesn't change his mind. He doesn't say, okay, I see where you're coming. No, it's just like bulldozer, and it's so stupid. It's pointless. Like if I just got like slapped with that much opposition to my point, I think I'd stop talking at least and be like, I don't know. I got to think about that at the least. But no, he's like, no. Anyways, blah, 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 blah. And he just keeps talking. It's pointless, And people have told me that it gets annoying when everybody's talking at the same time with Skeeter. But that's the thing. He thinks he has some kind of right to get on there and just monologue for an hour. And we just have to listen to him. It's like, you have your own YouTube channel for that. Like, there's 4 people talking whenever we're somebody's calling in on the show, so you can't just like expect to get to talk no matter the absolute amount that you want. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you have to let somebody else talk. Well, like if you make a point, I want to respond.
I'm confused on what the negative right. What is a negative right? What does Skeeter explain that?
He didn't explain it well. A positive right is I have a right to something, to acquire something. I have a right to something. A negative right is I have a right to not be harmed in this way. So all of the First and Second Amendments, those are all negative rights because it's like I have the right to assemble, meaning that the government can't go break me and my friends up when we're assembling to protest or whatever.
That's correct.
I have a right to free speech, meaning the government can't stop me from it. See what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And that's why when people say, oh, healthcare is a human right, that's BS because it's a positive right, meaning I have the right to literally lead the labor of other human beings,
Yeah.
And that's just stupid.
Well, and that's I think that's part of the beauty of the second and how it's written is that you have the right to keep and bear. It doesn't say you have a right to access, or I guess maybe not right to access is the wrong word. You don't have, like you said, you don't have a right to the gun manufacturer's labor. You just have a right to possess and
it just shall not be infringed.
Yeah. Period.
So, and like so many states are in violation of that anyway.
Well, we're getting better with that constitutional carries. I think we're at like 26 out of the 50 states or something.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's actually better than I thought it was.
It's way. A lot of the Midwestern and Southern states have hopped on the constitutional carry.
I know Texas did in like 2021.
Montana, Idaho, too.
Doesn't
as well.
surprise me.
The Dakotas, both of them. I think Wisconsin's close. Wisconsin's a purple state. I think Arizona has passed it. I think Nevada's on the line because of all the casinos. I know Utah's passed it for sure. All of the southern states, Tennessee, Kentucky, I'm pretty sure Alabama, Georgia.
Arizona has.
Oh, nice. Florida has the new concealed carry. You don't have to have a permit to concealed carry, but you can't open carry. It's a little different in Florida.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
You have to like carry. Well, people have been protesting by walking around with fishing poles and ARs on their back. Because you can only carry a gun openly if you're in the act of fishing or hunting.
Oh,
so people are
wow, that's a fun way to
parking
do
their
it.
car downtown and then walking to the beach with a fishing pole saying, I'm going fishing.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's a good way to protest.
Guys.
When you first said it, I was like, oh, the joke is that cops are going to have to do a double take thinking it's a gun. I don't know.
No, they do have a gun. They walk down the street with it. But so the law is you can only have it while you're actively fishing or hunting. And so you can have a gun while fishing, right? Because that's how the law is stated, right? That's to the letter of the law. So
I was so happy with the gun store we went to today because I was telling Angela I was like afraid I'd go in there and be like super intimidated and they'd be mean and stuff. But actually, they weren't at all. They're so talkative and cool.
No, gun store guys are awesome.
They had a display of Hawaiian shirts in there.
Nice.
Oh yeah, some Boog Boy attire. I remember when the Boog. I was 18 when that became a big thing. Before the Glowies knew, when it was still like deep in the meme culture of
I just
Hawaiian
remember
shirts.
After January 6th and there was going to be
party.
When there was going to be a bunch of protests at every Capitol building. I was like, I'm not going to any of that, and it was always people in Hawaiian shirts. It's like I remember some of my friends from here, they went to the New Hampshire. I didn't go because I lived in Texas for like a month before I moved back. But anyways, some of my friends from here went to the State House. I was super nervous that it was going to get exploded or something. But they were like, oh yeah, and there were a few other guys there. They had like Hawaiian shirts on and stuff, and they seemed cool. I'm just like, I've never heard about them ever again.
The whole thing was about the Boog, Boogaloo.
I know, but
like the Boogaloo side quests. Do you remember those memes?
No, but all I'm saying is those people don't hang out today. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because it was meme culture.
I really think those were feds.
Oh, they're at that?
Because the type of person that would like the meme culture that was Boogaloo Boy and lived in New Hampshire, you really think they wouldn't be still hanging out with us, you know?
Yeah, those guys were feds because they're three. Like I said, it came when I was 18. That was 2018. I was in math class talking about Hawaiian shirts. Not
2 years later, yeah.
3 years later, and in internet years, that's like 70. That's like, the internet just came and went with that stuff, bro. We're not even talking about that stuff anymore.
Yeah, I know. When I saw that today, it literally I was talking to my friend. And then, I'm seeing those shirts, and it, took a really long time to register why they would be like that there, or why they would be there, or why there's Hawaiian shirts in there.
Yeah.
Because I kind of forgot about the whole
think a lot of Patriot Front types, super glowy, for sure. That's glowy.
Yeah, that's a good point. It, became uncool when those types took it over. So it wouldn't possibly be...
Yeah, or it was just a behind-the-take losers.
Well, we haven't actually gotten into this article at all from unheard.com. The number, if you'd like to change the subject or get in on the conversation with us, is 603-283-6160. Charlie Kirk death supercharges right-wing cancel culture. Perhaps it should have been expected. Following the fatal shooting of Charlie Kirk last week, portions of the American right have embarked on a campaign of revenge. It started with MSNBC analyst Matthew Dowd being fired by the channel it's a man. I don't know why I thought I saw the word her. Being fired by the channel for foolishly speculating right after Kirk was shot that the perpetrator could have been a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's the most ridiculous.
Oh, yeah, it's very ridiculous.
Uncouth. I mean, there's that's not even unrelated to Charlie Kirk. To just say, oh yeah, well,
like being a
Republican,
journalist, that's dumb.
Yeah, Republicans just it's like it's a redneck wedding, and they're just shooting guns off in the sky. Woohoo!
Yeah,
you know, like, bro, that's the most out of touch. How out of touch are these New York pundits that sit here and talk down to you from their Crystal Palace above
most of
the
these
rabble.
Politicians are big city types, and most people who are on the left are big city types. They want to go live in the big city, and they want to pretend to be educated and look down from you from their ivory tower, no matter how big it is. And they claim they know better than you on how to treat somebody.
And it's just so irresponsible. It's irresponsible for the seconds after a shooting to be like, well, it could have been this.
Yeah.
Honestly,
On a national television platform.
Right, not just like to your friends.
Yeah, this is, and not even just like on Twitter. It's you are supposed to be in quotes, right? These are air
facts.
quotes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, not just to go, but the news. You're supposed to be the front line of what's happening to communicate what has transpired to the person on the other side of the screen.
Mm-hmm.
That's your first job.
And when it's like involving a death, it's like, what if something you said? Not that I'm saying that happened with this guy, but what if something you said gets someone arrested? You know, like you're like, it could have been this guy in the front row. I saw him move really weird.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. Anyways,
Just save that for the YouTubers. Save that for Twitter. You know,
for like conspiracy theorying later.
Yeah,
Like, and they call us the conspiracy theorists. You know.
But to
but
say stuff like his follow-up remarks afterwards, it's just like it's like fumbling the ball twice in one play.
Oh, I saw that he said the thing about shooting off the celebration, but I didn't see the rest.
Well, and then right afterwards, he says something about, well, your words of violence cause violence, and this is violence actions happen to violent people.
Everybody's saying that. They keep saying that he was violent because he said, and it's like, it definitely could have been phrased better in my opinion, but he said, like, somebody asked him, and so he had to point blank answer, like, is it worth it for there to be some gun deaths for us to be able to have the Second Amendment? And he said yes, and I agree with him. It's like, if it's a yes or no question, if it's either or, but obviously everybody would agree that we'd rather have gun rights and zero mass shootings and school shootings and like just murder with the gun.
Yeah, what is wrong with working towards a better, you know what I mean, a solution to the problem and still maintaining your ability to protect your family, right?
This is probably where like politician answers come in handy.
Yeah,
Instead
well,
of
but
saying,
they're nonsense circle answers. They always are.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, it's unfortunate that people are flocking to that one quote of his, making him seem like a bad person. They're saying,
if
well,
you watch the entire quote, it's not. It's way more
I agree.
nuanced.
But that's the thing. It's like, exactly. It's like this is where a politician answers come in handy because they're only going to clip the bad sounding part. And honestly, even if I only heard that part, I'm a thinking person and I don't find it really bad. I'm like, yeah, I agree.
You know, people love sound bites
sound good.
so much easier, so much better than, getting things in context. They just want a sound bite. Mm-hmm. And then they can parrot the sound bite.
TikTok's melted our brains.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. I saw a picture today. Maybe it was like Twitter where somebody reposted. It was actually a TikTok like screenshot of a TikTok where somebody was sitting in a chair and they wrote 1 hour a day I raw dog, which is the word for like doing something without any entertainment, no phone, not even reading a book. Like people call it raw dogging. I almost feel like I can't say that on air, but I can.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, now that it's an internet trend, it's considered an acceptable term.
Yeah, but it's in the Oxford Dictionary now with skibbity, whatever. Oh my God, it sounds so old. I don't remember.
Skibbity?
Yeah, whatever. I was like, I said it right, but the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. So anyways.
You guys are all younger than me, and I have no idea what these terms are.
I actually couldn't really explain that crap to you, honestly.
Oh, man,
that's Gen Alpha.
Oh, man.
It's a brain rot to the core, man. I could explain to you how we got from A to B, but it would take me like 2 hours and a lot of like showing you different pictures and videos.
This guy, he posted like it was supposed to be this like grand idea of his, like 1 hour a day I raw dog life by sitting in a chair in order to fix my attention span. And somebody who reposted it and what they said about it was, people like Gen Z or whatever, or young people, are trying to reinvent the wheel and ending up accidentally inventing meditation practices, you know?
Yeah, it literally always comes back to touch grass, bro. It always comes back to just those touch grass. And then, you know, take a second and, a cigarette and a coffee sitting on your porch, taking a second to unwind. Yeah, I think everybody comes back to that meditation, that second of quiet and aloneness to reflect on your
I don't
day.
know if everybody does, because like a huge problem that like a lot of people I've seen in my life have is like this inability to be lonely ever.
The most spiritually healthy people I know always have a time built out. Maybe if it's in their morning or their day. And some people fill it with prayer. Some people fill it with sitting on their front porch. Some people, you know, read philosophy, or, you know, people have all different ways to do it. But everybody that I know that's healthy spiritually takes time out of their day to pause and reflect a little bit and slow themselves down.
Yeah, I wish I could say that I'm perfect at this, but I'm not. Maybe once or twice a week I try to, but I'm not very good at it.
Yeah, I'm not claiming to be spiritually healthy. Don't get it wrong. I'm not. My brain is fried. I'm 25. I've been on the internet since I was 11.
I'm 39, and I feel like my brain is fried too. And I have to figure out how to reduce my attachment to my phone, but yet I need it for work.
Yeah, that's always something that comes back to me, is like needing my phone for all kinds of things. Like if Ian randomly calls me, even like I never even have my phone on silent.
Can you imagine what people did 30 years ago when the phone stayed at home still?
No, I actually asked Richie Rich and Kahuna, I think it was. I was like, seriously, tell me how you guys drove to a new place without GPS or phones.
I had to do it when my great grandparents, like when they raised me, they were stuck in the 80s, 90s with the technology. So I grew up with a little bit of, if they're away from the house, that's it, dude. You can't get a hold of them. I can't call him because he's at the store.
Oh, no, I meant like directions.
Oh, yeah, we use
in
maps.
That specific
we
case.
use big old maps that Grandpa would fold up and put into the glove box. And if we got lost, we'd have to get out a compass and triangulate where we were, like we're land navving. No cell phones or anything.
But like daily, day to day. Like one thing I asked was like, obviously I know the answer is maps, but like you're on the highway, you have seconds to figure out if you should exit or not. Well, you just exit and then go park somewhere and look at your map. That's awful.
Yeah, you just literally park and go look at the map.
Well, we have a caller on the line, so I'm gonna go to the phones. Sarah in New Mexico, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
You know that our new state law is that felons could vote the very day they are released from prison. That is our New Mexico election law now.
Sounds good to me. I don't see why, if they're not being punished anymore, I'm surprised that that's new.
Well, the thing is, they had something similar, but I've been talking to people, and then what they told me is that they had their probation. Once they have finished off their probation, they will give them a number, and that qualifies them to register to vote. But I met a man, he said, you know what? The state prison registered me to vote when they released me, the very day they released me. That's the new election law. So
somebody came and got him registered? Like he didn't just like go do it himself?
Well, the state prison, they asked him, do you want to register to vote? And they did it. And then I think you have to sign and then fill out the form. And, they offered it to him. That is our state prison now. So, yeah. So, but they told me that they had always something like that, but I think you have to finish out your probation and you got to wait 3 to 6 months and then you qualify. I never heard about that. Now that felons just out of jail could register and vote that day now. And then we got the same day registration and same day voting. So if the polling places are open, they could register and vote the same day.
Interesting. I always thought it's crazy and stupid that people lose their right to vote sometimes as felons. I just think that's crazy.
Yeah, even post-sentence. I think once your sentence has been paid, you've repaid your debt to society. You
They should also get their-
reinstituted as a full citizen.
And they should get their gun rights back.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely.
603-283-6160. More Free Talk Live coming up. Don't go anywhere.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
You can help more people hear the message of liberty by joining Free Talk Live's AMPS program on Patreon for as little as $5 a month. And you'll get access to special perks. Visit amps.freetalklive.com, amps.freetalklive.com.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Tony Waterman, and this is the Week in Review. This week was dominated by the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk on a university campus in Utah on Wednesday. Kirk was an icon of the MAGA movement and a close ally of President Donald Trump. After a 33-hour manhunt, a suspect was arrested and identified as 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. FSN's Simon Marks filed this report.
The president appeared in the studio of Fox News in New York to announce a breakthrough in the search for the killer of his friend Charlie Kirk.
I think with a high degree of certainty, we have him in custody. Okay? In custody.
He indicated that a priest worked with the suspect's father to secure his surrender.
A father got involved, namely his father, and said, we got to go in. And they drove into the police headquarters, and he's there now.
There had been growing pressure on the FBI to find the college-age gunman who was seen fleeing from a rooftop overlooking Charlie Kirk's event.
Israel this week attacked Hamas leaders inside Qatar, which has been helping to mediate ceasefire negotiations. President Trump issued a rare rebuke to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, telling reporters he wasn't thrilled about the way the attacks went down. In an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council, Qatar's prime minister accused Israel's government of not caring about the hostages held by Hamas, but vowed to continue pushing for a ceasefire in Gaza. FSN's Blake Sifton reports from Tel Aviv.
The Security Council issued a joint statement expressing deep concern over the strike, emphasizing de-escalation and recognizing what it called the vital role Qatar has played in mediation efforts. Meanwhile, Israel's ambassador to the UN reiterated warnings that Israel could target Hamas and Qatar again. Either Qatar condemns Hamas, expels Hamas, and brings Hamas to justice, or Israel will, he said.
The Jeffrey Epstein saga continued to grab headlines this week. The UK ambassador to the US, Peter Mandelson, was sacked on Thursday after new information emerged about his relationship with Epstein, a convicted sex offender accused of trafficking young girls. FSN's Kate Fisher has more.
US lawmakers released a number of documents this week, including a letter from Peter Mandelson in which he called the disgraced financier his best pal. Lord Mandelson served as a key link between UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer and Donald Trump and has been credited with helping the UK to escape the worst of the Trump tariffs. But the timing of this is diplomatically awkward for the special relationship, given that President Trump will travel to the UK for a state visit next week.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
You can help spread the ideas of liberty with our Patreon for just $5 per month at amps.freetalklive.com.
Talk Live, talk radio that you control. 603-283-6160 is the phone number. That's 603-283-6160. And are you tired of the oppressive rules and moderation of the big tech social media sites? Just the other day, I tweeted something about trannies, but I had to put 3 N's in the word tranny. And my friend tried to reply, and it hid his reply. So I had to just tag him and say, hey, just so you know, you have to put 3 N's in tranny or else it hides your reply. Oh, sorry, you guys. I thought you were unmuted.
Oh, that's really interesting. Like, that's definitely censorship right there.
That's normal. I mean, the internet has been censoring words and I mean, what did we just use unalive unironically for an entire episode the other day?
I think we did.
So yeah, I mean, like, come on, guys.
I'm
like,
pretty sure we're using it ironically because by the end of it, Riley was like, "Do we have to keep saying that?" We're like, "No."
Well,
no.
we fell into into the trap. We almost started using it unironically
with stupid slang, like seriously.
Skibbity.
Well, not really. I don't do that, but to this day, I say ratchet literally. I'm like, no, I seriously can't go anywhere. I look ratchet. And I'm like, oh, I don't even know why I say that. It was just a big thing in 2011 for
chopped.
like rappers to say that. Or yeah, that's probably more like Bailey. Bailey would be like, I can't go. I look chopped.
And then in 10 years, it'll be I can't go. I look sneaker. You know, who knows? Like,
oh man, language is a strange thing. It evolves so quickly sometimes.
Yeah, and I'm always like, how the heck does something start? It's so weird to me that one person is like, dude, chopped, and then the whole country's saying it, and it meant nothing a day before. How does it happen?
Well, viral videos. Do you remember the?
Yeah, but before that, videos. Okay, yeah, I get. That's probably why. Because Skibidi.
Yeah, videos, and then before that, it was MTV
really
videos. It was music videos. We were using, man, that girl Ratchet. Because that's what you heard on the radio, and that's what
I was actually.
It's all videos.
Saying
it's
like
just,
that was
you
from
hear
rap.
it in the music, or it gets like Shakespeare created like words that people still use today.
I've heard that
because they were
which
in
ones.
the media, and that's just that sounds fun. Let's use that slang from this play, and then it just takes off, and now it's a thing.
Well, I didn't actually finish reading this, so sorry. Are you tired of the oppressive rules and moderation of the big tech social media sites? Our Mastodon server at social.freetalklive.com can set you free. Mastodon is free, open source, decentralized, and federated. Multiple apps are available for iOS, Android, Windows, Mac, and Linux. Social.freetalklive.com. And with you on Free Talk Live tonight, you've got me, Bonnie.
Angelo.
And Riley.
And yeah, it's definitely true that most of the social medias are completely locked down, and Twitter claims to be the best one. And so far, it seems like it's like one of the better big ones, like, because obviously there are really free ones like the Mastodon that we just talked about. And apparently, a recent thing that somebody told me was Nostr. And I've heard of Nostr before, but my friend's really trying to get people to join, and so I started to try to join, and then I realized I have to get a whole other app. Like, you can't just use it on the browser, and I was like, honestly, I don't feel like doing that. So anyways, like, all the really big and easy to get on ones are pretty freaking locked down. So people were obviously reporting me recently because yesterday I had this little thing on my account said, hey, just so you know, you've been tagged as spam, so we're going to limit your visibility for a while. So I had to request a appeal, and then today they told me, never mind, you're not spam. And to me, that says people were just trying to report me because they don't like what I'm saying.
Yeah,
that happens, unfortunately.
Well, the right does it too. Like, remember when they had to take dislikes away from the internet? Dislike counts from YouTube because the White House official posts were getting 400, 500, 600,000 dislikes to maybe 10,000, 20,000 up likes.
Yeah, but that's different than making like a report against them. Like if people are doing like copyright reports, that's messed up, you know? Like
well, I don't think they
illegally stuff like that.
Well, I don't think that's what they hit you with. Wouldn't have been what they were reporting.
No, I just hear about a bunch of like video makers, like YouTube and stuff like that. Oh
yeah, well, like if you use somebody else's video within your video, then they try to copyright strike it, even if you're calling that person out for their horrendous actions. You know,
and even if you're using it correctly, like, you know, less than 5 seconds or whatever it is.
Like this tennis guy. This have you guys heard about this video that went viral before Charlie Kirk got shot? It was probably last week at this at the US Open, I think it was. This famous tennis player signed a child's hat, and a billionaire ripped it out of his hands and took it away, and then got on Twitter.
Oh no!
And threatened to sue anybody who talked bad about him for doing that. So I'm here saying, I have no net worth, buddy. I have
that's rough.
That's terrible what you did to that child.
He stole it from him?
He ripped it right out of his hands and walked away.
But it was actually...
You can see the video of the...
But no, here's what I'm asking. It's not like it's like, oh, the little boy should have caught that, like being thrown into a crowd.
The tennis player walks up to the wall.
Mm-hmm.
The kid hands him the hat.
Oh, okay, so
the tennis
definitely
player
belonged to him.
signs the hat, hands it back to the kid. As the kid reaches and grabs it from the tennis player, a man reaches behind him, snags the hat out of his hand.
What a terrible thing to do to a child.
What a terrible thing a millionaire does to a child.
I know.
A guy who drives a $100,000 sports car to do to a child. Do you not have enough? You know what I mean? That's just, those are the same kind of people who get online and celebrate somebody getting shot in the neck.
Yep. That's ridiculous. That's crazy. And no, I didn't see that video going viral or anything.
It hit the sports world pretty hard. Because that's the exact opposite of what sports are supposed to be about.
Mm-hmm.
The real reason is for gambling, so Vegas can make a ton of money. But the outside reason is supposed to bring people together.
At least, like, the fans should say.
Yeah.
Isn't Vegas losing visitors?
Oh yeah,
by the ton. That's why they made online sports betting going straight to your phone, because people quit going to Vegas and they had to figure out how to make their money. So they just transferred all the books to your phone. So now you can bet on anything at any time. You can bet on if Charlie Kirk was going to run for U.S. office. That was something you could have bet money on.
Local casino news, I saw today that the casino in Keene is going to start giving part of its proceeds to the city of Keene. And I was like, that's even lamer. I was already not going to go gamble money, but
I won $100.
Wait, what?
I won $100.
Oh, nice.
And I said, yep, and that makes you a winner, and then you leave and you don't touch it for another 2-3 years.
There you go.
I've gambled twice, and both times I brought $40 with me, lost my $40, and stopped. So it's always worth it to just go have fun.
I think I pulled out 60, and I walked out with 140. So I guess that's how I went up $80.
That's a good deal.
Like, that's a win. That's a win. I
Yeah,
got a drink. I had a little bit of fun. I got to watch the screen make the noises and the...
Mm-hmm.
If I wanted that, I could just watch my phone. That's why boomers are so addicted to the gambling machines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's always the case in Wendover, Nevada. It's a bunch of old people. I like the fact that they just walk around and bring you little alcoholic drinks on a tray for free, and that you can smoke cigarettes inside. I'm not even a smoker, but even then, I had already quit. I quit at that moment, then I started again, then quit. But now I've quit since 2020. And still, if for some reason I had to go to a casino, I'd probably be like, okay, I'll get my skinny little cigarettes just to smoke inside. Like, that's so fun.
That's the whole point of going to a casino, is to smoke inside and feel like you're in a mob movie for a few hours.
Go to the buffet. I'm pretty sure the one in Keene doesn't have something like that.
You go, get fed like a mafia boss.
Yeah. Maybe on the off chance, on the way back chance, you hit that $100,000 jackpot.
Yep.
But that never happens. So you just, if you go to a casino, plan to spend money to be entertained. Don't make it a money making venture, because it won't work.
Yeah. And if I did win money, I would hope that I would stop then as well. I know it's like maybe it's addictive.
That's how they get you. But you got to remember, you got to plan. You have an X amount of number to spend, and that's what you're spending for entertainment. This is coming out of your entertainment budget, and that's it.
I hate the idea of being like married to someone and then finding out they're like they get addicted to gambling. That sounds like hell, because it's like
it's almost
such a lame
scarier.
thing.
Yeah, such a lame thing to get addicted to. Lose your house over meth. Don't lose your house over card games.
Try to not lose your house over either.
Yeah.
Try not to. But if you're gonna pick one, pick the cooler one.
Yeah, definitely pick the cooler one.
Well, this from unheard.com.
A reputable news source.
Yeah, we had never heard of them, so I guess they were unheard. Charlie Kirk death supercharges right-wing cancel culture. And they say perhaps it should have been expected. And it started with MSNBC analyst Matthew Dowd being fired because he foolishly speculated right after Kirk was shot that the perpetrator could have been a supporter shooting off their gun in celebration, like you saw, like a redneck wedding. Yeah.
What an absurd thing to say.
It is.
Well, just keep reading. I think it gets a little worse.
Shortly before the conservative activist's death was firm, Dowd called him divisive and suggested that his rhetoric had contributed to the attempt on his life. So I think it's like that's what they're trying to say that he said. They just didn't, actually quote that. The next
They
part
didn't
that you're
quote the
talking
entire
about.
part. I'll pull it up myself.
It says widespread online calls for Dowd to be sacked eventually forced MSNBC's hand. That's kind of a dumb way to put it. It's like if we're literally trying to talk about things in terms of who is at fault, MSNBC didn't get forced. They just decided that the public backlash was worth firing him. So, anyways, now several days later, dozens of people across America have been fired, suspended, or put under investigation for expressing Schadenfreude, which means it's like a German word that means like happy that something bad happened, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Over Kirk's death. These include school teachers, academics, video game developers, and firemen. That's just terrifying to think that, especially if it's like a doctor, nurse, or like a person, EMT, fireman. It's terrifying to think of people like celebrating somebody's death that is supposed to be a lifesaver. But.
So he's been Dowd's words. He, quote Kirk, has been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing the sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to that hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions.
I hate that they have decided they can determine what you're thinking when you say an opinion. Like if it's like, I don't think parents should be mutilating the genitals of each other. Hate! You're being hateful.
Yeah,
and then they pass laws.
And then they make claims that you are advocating for rounding up trans people and killing them.
Yes. But we have a caller on the line, so let's go to David from San Francisco. David, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Oh, greetings. Yeah, it's funny. I was just listening to another show talking about the same topic, and they weren't talking about it in terms of Schadenfreude, which is, taking delight at somebody else's pain, but they were talking about it more like karma, or the old biblical line, good grief, you have a gun, and they didn't have guns back then. Live by the sword, die by the sword.
Oh.
And so, yeah, it's kind of more the karma angle as opposed to the Schadenfreude. But and in fact, I think was he a CNN guy that got fired?
MSNBC.
Yeah. Oh, MSNBC. Okay. Yeah, and he's been around for a lot of years.
Charlie Kirk didn't live by the gun.
Well, he lived by.
Yeah, he didn't go around killing people. That's not what Charlie Kirk did.
Yeah, that is a little bit of a mix-up of what they mean by that in the Bible, because like they say that when Peter is prepared, or one of Jesus' disciples.
It's Peter. Yeah, it's Peter.
Oh, okay. Is prepared to kill the people coming to grab Jesus, and Jesus tells them not to because of that. But when has Charlie Kirk ever raised up arms of any sort against another person? Like, he's expressed opinions.
Well, and see, that's where I'm leading. I found an old book. It was published in 1941, and it was a guy who was, I think he was Bulgarian. He was a rich Bulgarian son of an industrialist, and he had gone to university in Berlin in the 19-teens and 20s. And so he was shoulder to shoulder in school or college really, with the people that would become the rich functionaries of government. They would be the generals and the people in the State Department and the various agencies of government or industry. And so when Hitler comes to power, this guy is in close contact with him as high school friends, right? Or college friends. And so during the rise of Hitler, when Hitler is using his little propaganda techniques to soften up whole nations, they didn't just march into a country. They went in first with their propaganda teams to soften up the nation, to make sure that they would be welcomed, or at least half-heartedly welcomed, while it was really an invasion. And so I look at that book and the exact phrases from that book, and then I listen to Rush Limbaugh and Charlie Kirk and half a dozen of these other rats that are out there spewing hatred day after day. When the killings in these, the various schools, Charlie Kirk's got a quote. Somebody just sent it over on Facebook about how, let's see if I can find it. The whole idea, to quote the recently deceased Turning Point USA CEO and co-founder Charlie Kirk, quote, "I can't stand the word empathy. Actually, I think empathy is a made-up New Age term, that it does a lot of damage." And then after the deadly shooting at the Christian Covenant School in Nashville on April of 2023, Charlie Kirk says, oh, God, why do you have these things? Charlie Kirk said, I quote, "I think it's worth it to have some gun deaths every single year so we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights. That's a prudent deal. It's rational," unquote.
Well, I've already found more about the empathy quote than what you're quoting. He continued to discuss that people who use the word empathy the most are usually hypocritical because they don't show empathy for causes important to him. I don't think he's saying, I mean, like, it would be ridiculous for him to be saying empathy is a bad idea.
I want to make something clear that the rise of fascism is tied directly to the rise of communism within the European countries, right? You didn't start hearing these fascism. So look, you're looking for people are trying to find a return to order in a time where we've had 4 years or more, maybe the past 15 years of degradation of the core institutions from every angle of the society upon which is foundation upon which a society is built. So there might be some fascistic rhetoric within, sure, because you can draw parallels to anything, but it's completely in response to a rise of this Marxist takeover and degradation, the stripping of the institutions of their soul.
Word meanings, like we were just saying, it's so annoying that people are just repeat the word hatred. It's like anybody celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, we could easily call that hatred too, but it's like leftists just don't see it that way for whatever reason. It's only hatred when it has to do with some group or person that they care about, and it's making his point, actually. The point is that the people who say empathy the most, be kind, their bumper stickers say, be kind to someone today, are the people who don't care about the things he cared about, and he lists vaccine mandates, medical treatments affecting children, the impact of fentanyl at the border. Like, you don't have to really care about those things, but if you're going around saying, like, be empathetic to everyone, but you only care about what you care about, like, yeah, you are kind of being a hypocrite.
Well, you're making a pretty blanket statement that anybody that's got an empathy kind of bumper sticker really hates people.
No, I said anybody that has the kindness bumper stickers is usually the type of person to be saying hatred, and then they use that word. Yeah, they use that word to death, and it doesn't actually mean anything anymore. And they want to be able to define what is kind and what is hatred, and they even have gotten it into law. Like right now,
empathy for me, but not for thee.
There are actually laws that if you do a crime,
you're talking nonsense, right?
If you do a crime, but you have mean thoughts about the Jews in your head, then it's not just a crime; it's a double crime. And in Florida, you can go to prison for 5 years for a hate crime against the Jews. So it's not nonsense. It's real world stuff.
You understand that you're talking like a bigotry times a new scale.
So you have real words to say against what I'm saying, or are you just going to say that?
Well, when you have foreign policy, when you have in the town policy based upon bigotry, then there's no equal justice under the law. There's no equal protection. It's just which gang. I used to live up in St. Louis, And each of the different sections of town might be run by Lutherans or by Catholics or by Jews or by race, by Germans, Irish neighborhoods, all of these. And if you sometimes wouldn't get your street swept if you were of the wrong nationality or the wrong religion or whatever, and you're all paying taxes for the street sweeper, but because your alderman won't allow your neighborhood or your street to get swept, the trash builds up, the sewer clogs up, all sorts of problems. So the city it becomes expensive to have bigots in charge. And when you got a slumlord bigot like Donald Trump, and he's a slumlord bigot, and he's making sure that sections of the country are being denied equal justice and equal protection. And I'm the guy calling from California, where he was going to cut off aid during our wildfires, that he went out of his way to waste 1 million gallons of water, dump it into the farmers' fields rather than having it sent to L.A. And that rat is out there then stirring up all sorts of new hatred. You know, the real reason I called...
Wait, because I do want to focus on one thing at a time. I don't want people to monologue. I want to reply to what you just said. First of all, never did I ever, say anything about we should have somebody running the cities doing whatever you accused me of at the beginning, running the cities with favoritism towards a race. No, I never said anything like that. And second of all, when you give the example of a street sweeper not sweeping your street because you're the wrong nationality or whatever, because of hate, it sounds like the actual problem comes from not allowing people to hire people to do things that they want them to do and instead stealing from them and giving them only one choice. Like with the real problem with cops murdering, maybe in one town they're murdering more black people than the rest. The real problem is the fact that those black people aren't allowed to not have their money stolen from them and choose what companies they want to employ. And instead they have to rely on these unaccountable thugs to sweep their streets or police their towns. The real problem is this fake authority that you love so much. You don't hate the authority Donald Trump has. You hate that Donald Trump has it. You want some other freak in power with the same exact fake authority. So you have no moral standing here. You can take it back calling me a bigot. You can take it back calling me a bigot against somebody, or you can make a point that actually shows that I'm a bigot.
Well, first of all, a street sweeper is not a power broker, but it's the street sweeper's boss that tells them don't do that street, right? And it's the aldermen are the ones that were cutting off services in St. Louis. St. Louis had over 1 million people.
Still government people. Whoever made the choice, it doesn't really matter. Like if you're saying like they were just following orders, whatever, like the company, if it's not being ran publicly and has to listen to the alderman, then my point still stands.
You're doing it's not just double talk, you're doing triple, quadruple talk. And I'm not even going to try to catch up with all of the different angles. Well, you're going by the pretense that the street sweeper is some private company.
No, I'm not. I was saying that it's not a private company. I was saying it was government because I thought that's what you had said because I don't live in St. Louis. And then you were saying, no, it's not. It actually has to listen to the aldermen. Aldermen are people that got elected into fake power, fake authority positions. So my point didn't change at all. So I'm not double speaking or whatever. You just don't like the fact that like you're being challenged on what you believe already.
Well, you're going by some assumption that aldermen are terrible people automatically just because they're aldermen.
You're the one that just said that those specific people were saying don't sweep the Jews' streets.
Again, you're quadrupling down.
No, I'm not. Whatever, you're just like awful at actually having conversation. Every time I say anything, he has to respond to it's, well, you're not making sense. You know you're babbling and making no sense, right? Well, then you should be able to explain how, right?
Yeah, you should be, so...
603-283-6160. It's Free Talk Live. More coming up. 603-283-6160. More Free Talk Live coming up.
Join liberty-minded voluntarists, anarchists, and libertarians from June 13th through the 16th for the 8th annual Fork Fest at Rogers Campground in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire. Fork Fest is a fork of the Porcupine Freedom Festival, which has sold out in recent years. Fork Fest happens the weekend before the Porcupine Freedom Festival. Fork Fest is decentralized, which means that there's no ticket cost and no one is in charge. All you have to do to join the fun is reserve your camping site, RV site, or motel room with Rogers Campground for June 13th through the 16th. You can find out more at the unofficial website, forkfest.party. You can also connect with other attendees on the Forkfest Telegram and Matrix chat rooms, as well as the Forkfest forum. You can find links to those at forkfest.party. We hope to see you there June 13th through the 16th. Forkfest.party. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and our main feed that includes everything. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Tony Waterman, and this is the Week in Review. This week was dominated by the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk on a university campus in Utah on Wednesday. Kirk was an icon of the MAGA movement and a close ally of President Donald Trump. After a 33-hour manhunt, a suspect was arrested and identified as 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. Authorities say he had expressed disdain for Kirk, whose viewpoints are at times controversial. FSN's Simon Marks filed this report.
The president appeared in the studio of Fox News in New York to announce a breakthrough in the search for the killer of his friend Charlie Kirk.
I think with a high degree of certainty, we have him in custody. Right? In custody.
He indicated that a priest worked with the suspect's father to secure his surrender.
A father got involved, namely his father, and said, we got to go in, and they drove into the police headquarters, and he's there now.
There had been growing pressure on the FBI to find the college-age gunman who was seen fleeing from a rooftop overlooking Charlie Kirk's event.
Israel this week attacked Hamas leaders inside Qatar, which has been helping to mediate ceasefire negotiations. President Trump issued a rare rebuke to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, telling reporters he wasn't thrilled about the way the attacks went down. In an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council, Qatar's prime minister accused Israel's government of not caring about the hostages held by Hamas, but vowed to continue pushing for a ceasefire in Gaza. FSN's Blake Sifton reports from Tel Aviv.
The Security Council issued a joint statement expressing deep concern over the strike, emphasizing de-escalation and recognizing what it called the vital role Qatar has played in mediation efforts. Meanwhile, Israel's ambassador to the UN reiterated warnings that Israel could target Hamas and Qatar again. Either Qatar condemns Hamas, expels Hamas, and brings Hamas to justice, or Israel will, he said.
The Jeffrey Epstein saga continued to grab headlines this week. The UK ambassador to the US, Peter Mandelson, was sacked on Thursday after new information emerged about his relationship with Epstein, a convicted sex offender accused of trafficking young girls. FSN's Kate Fisher has more.
US lawmakers released a number of documents this week, including a letter from Peter Mandelson, in which he called the disgraced financier his best pal. Lord Mandelson served as a key link between UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer and Donald Trump, and has been credited with helping the UK to escape the worst of the Trump tariffs. But the timing of this is diplomatically awkward for the special relationship, given that President Trump will travel to the UK for a state visit next week.
9 months after leaving the White House, former Vice President Kamala Harris let it be known how she really feels about her boss running for re-election. She has called it reckless that Democrats, including herself, deferred to former President Joe Biden's decision to seek re-election. In a new book, Harris says it was a mistake not to challenge his run despite his advanced age. FSN's Ira Spitzer reports.
An excerpt from Kamala Harris's upcoming memoir, 107 Days, published in The Atlantic magazine, offers her bluntest reflection yet on Biden's failed 2024 campaign. She writes that Democrats were wrong to cede the choice to what she called an individual's ego. Harris, who went on to replace Biden as the Democratic nominee in a condensed campaign, is the latest prominent Democrat to second-guess his re-election bid, joining others like former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi and Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg.
Elon Musk was dethroned as the world's richest person this week, eclipsed by Oracle co-founder Larry Ellison. At least temporarily. Shares of Ellison's software company skyrocketed more than 40% on Wednesday, propelled by heady growth in artificial intelligence. At one point, Ellison's net worth closed in on $400 billion, surpassing Musk as the world's richest person, a title the Tesla CEO has held for nearly a year. Ellison's wealth is largely linked to Oracle, which posted what is being described as astonishing quarterly results. The software company signed 4 multi-billion-dollar contracts last quarter, riding the AI boom. And that was Feature Story News' Week in Review. Tony Waterman reporting.
Well, our own Rebecca Mera takes us on a tour of the Olympic Village.
We have a full-size bed, lounge area, showers, plenty of space, which is great because I'm constantly having sex in there.
The Village is a temporary home to the world's most physically impressive athletic men and women. It was important to the Olympic Committee to give them a comfortable, state-of-the-art area to each other's brains out while they're not competing.
We have a pool where they can have a sex, a theater where they can have a sex. All these athletes are hot, horny, ready to go. They deserve the best.
I was in Vancouver where I got eaten out by this French speed skater. I have to say, these facilities are even better, and I'm going to try to a Japanese guy.
You've spared no expense.
These athletes deserve the best. They sacrifice so much for their countries. They deserve to be able to until their and can't take it anymore.
And these facilities won't go to waste. Once the Olympics are over, they'll be converted to a resort where Russian businessmen can come to their prostitutes.
This is the Onion News Network.
Yep, we still do email. Drop your email address in the entry box at freetalklive.com, and you'll be kept in the loop with Free Talk Live. Free Talk Live.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control. And 603-283-6160 is the phone number. That's 603-283-6160. And with you on Free Talk Live, we've got me, Bonnie.
Angelo.
And Riley.
And we have a lot to talk about. Apparently, some of Donald Trump's tariffs have just hit, and I hadn't heard anything about that.
Well, the news cycle's kind of been focused on.
Oh yeah,
other things. This
so we
week.
don't pay attention to the other stories on.
Yeah,
the
Nepal had a takeover of their government. I don't think we're gonna have time to talk about that, but that's been a big thing. I guess they elected their new government on Discord.
That's crazy.
Shout out Discord harboring elections. And
honestly, I just really feel like I hear something like that, and I'm just like, wow, okay, they're gonna replace their politicians with other politicians. Big deal, you know what I mean?
Well, that's all it is. It's just people want to tear down the system in order to install themselves and their buddies at the top of it. It's the same thing with the Marxist takeover here and in Europe, is that they just, it's the losers that want to rip down the system and install themselves as the top.
Even though there's already losers that are in it, there is just another group of losers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, like we said, some of Donald Trump's tariffs have apparently just hit. That's how it says it in this Financial Times article. U.S. companies put brakes on hiring after Donald Trump's tariffs hit. There was another article that we just basically never got to get into. I held on to it for a while. Countries were suspending postal deliveries to the U.S. because of something Donald Trump did. It was because of tariff situations he took away. He ended a long-standing tariff exemption for packages worth $800 or less, and so there were countries actually suspending postal deliveries to the U.S. And that was I had that up like 2-3 weeks ago. So
well, it's just part of an economic war.
Mm-hmm.
You know, somebody will tariff this person. I'll withhold these resources. I'll make your life worse, so your people put pressure on you to do X. That's just economic warfare in praxis.
And it's disproportionately hurting Americans. So it's insane that Donald Trump is doing it and pretending that he's just stupid and just doesn't know why that's the case. And he's actually thinks it's good for America. I don't believe that for a second. People not delivering things to the United States, companies not hiring or putting brakes on hiring, that's not a thing that equals, good for the United States and bad for other stupid S-hole countries. Nope. He just doesn't understand basic economics, and it's not that honestly, I was going to say, yeah, it's not just that he doesn't understand. He has to understand. There's no way somebody didn't explain it to him, but he doesn't care because he has other plans, like he got into office.
Or perhaps he's the fall guy for the New World Order to blame everything on because he's so ignorant of reality.
Yeah, I just don't think of him as a dummy, to be honest.
Okay.
And even if he was, it's like, shouldn't he have people that explain things to him? Because no one person can really know that many things, but shouldn't he have people that he's able to get any explanation from he wants, I just think, honestly, at the same time, I go back and forth because it's like, I don't think he's a mastermind just deciding things by himself. I think he probably has like handlers and people above him, but I think that I used to think of them as just a complete puppet, probably like, oh, you get into office and you get told like, here's everything you're going to do. But now I just think they're all on the same team. So why, it's not like it's like, well, he wanted to do really good things, but then he changed his mind when he got into office and became like a bad person. Like, I just think they were already bad, and that's why they got pushed into winning. And no, I don't believe the whole idea that like, they didn't want Donald Trump to win and somehow he just did it. The elections are fake. So how the heck would that even happen? Well, we have a caller on the line. Want to go to the phones? The number is 603-283-6160 if you'd like to call in. And we have Creighton on the line in Kentucky. Creighton, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Well, I just wanted to call in and talk about tariffs because tariffs are an economic problem that are way more complex than that typically presented to in economics class and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
For anyone who doesn't quite understand what a tariff is a tax on the people of the United States for goods that are coming into the United States that are typically manufactured outside the United States.
But wait, Trump told us that it's only going to affect the people from other countries. So how are you saying it's a tax on the Americans?
Well, it is and it isn't.
Mm-hmm.
And the way the isn't part is that the tax, it creates an economic incentive for domestic producers to come up with an alternative for that same product. And that's really the point. This is mercantilism in a modern context. Donald Trump is trying to force manufacturers, even to the point of getting manufacturers from other countries like Taiwan, to move physically their operations to the United States. And surprisingly, he's had some enormous movement in that regard. So, like you said, before, his goals are not what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
His goals are, I guess, some people like to think of it as a manufacturing revival, but that's not all of it. Part of it is that the U.S. dollar is going to die in our lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And Donald Trump is aware of this. But that doesn't mean you can't take advantage of it while it dies. If you can control the descent, you can benefit from it in a lot of different ways. And one of those ways is to reshore manufacturing of the United States, which is one of the largest markets in the world, in such a way that domestic producers are advantaged. And of course, those same domestic producers are the same kind of class of people that Donald Trump knows personally. So he's literally helping his friends. So it's more of along the lines of plutocracy, in the sense that a small elite class dominates politics. But of course, that's the way it's always been. It's just, it shifts around in the view of the public every few generations. If you think 100 years ago, we were talking about the domination of railroad barons.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's because it's all tied to the banks. At the end of the day, it's the bank involved, and the bank has always existed, and it's his move to where the seats of power are with its money bags behind, offering loans.
It's the bankers who've stolen our wealth, and the nice thing about cryptocurrency is we can be debanked. The nice thing about gold and silver is we don't have to store our gold and silver in a bank. That's what I like about having crypto and gold and silver.
And that, on that same note, that has a lot to do with why Donald Trump has done a 180 from his first term regarding cryptocurrency and Bitcoin in particular, is that somebody explained to him how it can be used to benefit and support the U.S. dollar temporarily. And he's doing that by functionally making stable coins a form of legal tender, so that they will be used outside of the United States for those that are debanked, mostly in Africa. And by doing this, this creates artificial demand for the U.S. dollar and supports its value, again, temporarily.
So Donald Trump, what you're saying is he's just going to fiat our money from oil to Bitcoin?
Well, stable coins, but
stable coin,
but not exactly.
I'm saying he's using the existence of Bitcoin and stable coins to kind of
prop it up.
Yes, elevate the U.S. dollar's value in a temporary fashion, because it would support the value of the dollar as long as the user pool is still growing. Once the user pool peaks out and maxes out, then that's where the end comes. No idea how long that takes. I've got no prediction there, but that's the next form of support. And very recently, Russia, or Russian ambassadors to the European Union, laid that game out very publicly. And their claim is the end goal is to then back the U.S. dollar by gold at the price it is then, not now, which would be terribly inflated by the time we get there. I mean, we've already seen a lot of it.
True.
But it hasn't slowed down. It really hasn't slowed down.
Well, you can't inject the economy with how many trillions of dollars did they print in the past 3 years? Like something 70% of all the money.
More money than they've ever printed in the existence of the United States.
Yeah, 70% of all the money in circulation today has been printed in the last 5 years. Of course, we're still feeling it, and of course, it's still going up. The ramifications of the amount of money we printed during the pandemic I don't think have been fully realized yet. I think, like you said, we've been propping up other things. We're doing everything we've been trying to do to hide it, but it's unavoidable.
Eventually, it's unavoidable. Eventually, the mathematics will win. But the idea of supporting it by expanding the user base to the rest of the world using stable coins is honestly, it's brilliant. And I mean, it's diabolical, but it is brilliant.
It just sounds like another version of him wanting to lower the interest rates to, float us on in a bubble just for a little longer before things crash hard.
Yes, I mean, the whole lowering interest rate thing, that's actually part of the thing. Part of the whole idea is right now, especially the real estate market, is kind of locked up because the interest rates went so high that either the prices must come down or the interest rate must come down because the prices of houses, just regular houses, are too high for the average income. So one of these things has to change, and Donald Trump, being a real estate Mongol, literally what he made his money on, the very idea of falling real estate prices bothers him on a personal level. So he's actually emotionally attached to the idea of forcing down the mortgage rates so that more people can buy at the current prices.
Okay.
No, I see what you're saying. But it just feels like, is that just not like another float? I mean, like the mob, the mafia that we've borrowed all this money from, whoever it may be, even if it is just from ourselves, or even it's just a massive amount of crushing debt, they're going to come knocking.
Well, they could, but the mafia that we're borrowing from is actually our own retirement account.
That's true.
That's where most of the money comes from, is from large state-funded pension funds, particularly California's. California's in a bad way. And it actually breaks California if the rates go down. That I don't know if that's part of it or not, if he's doing it on purpose, but the fact that the mortgage rates are high is actually the only thing that's keeping a lot of state pensions functioning on their projection out to the future. And if the rates go back down to anywhere near where they were just a decade ago, then those numbers become impossible.
So how does this prevent anything? This just sounds like more Band-Aids and no.
It is Band-Aids.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like
it seems
getting
that
fixed.
Creighton is agreeing that it's Band-Aids, and that's why he called it genius but diabolical. But I just maybe it's all about making it seem like his term went well and the next person's is bad. Do you think that's it?
I don't know if it's quite so egotistical of that. I mean, for a long time, the idea has been the U.S. dollar is going to crash. What can we do to support it this decade? And that has worked for as long as I've been alive. So keep in mind the gold standard was removed from the dollar in 1971, and a lot of these problems have been a slow, consistent decline since that time. We can blame a lot of things on the breaking of the gold dollar. But these economists that advise these presidents all this time, how can we keep the dollar going so there's not a crisis in my time, has been exactly how it's been going. And now we're down to the point where Donald Trump is doing these major things that the previous presidents didn't have to resort to because we weren't that bad yet. We're there now. So we are going to see the destruction of the U.S. dollar as far as we can, functionally destruction of it. in our lifetimes. We will see it. But what it looks like, I can't say. But these advisors, they're great at keeping the con going. I mean, you got to give them credit. They've been keeping it going for a long time.
My question is, why hasn't it happened yet? Because I've been hearing a lot about this collapse of the dollar for most of my life, and it still hasn't happened. Why do you think it's just around the corner this time?
I think it's just around the corner because of the severity of what has to be done to support it. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
What Donald Trump's doing are so extreme. But they're, from my perspective, they're designed to do exactly what we're talking about.
Kick the can down the road.
Yeah. Float the dollar a little bit longer. Let's get it going just a little bit longer until my term is out. Yeah, I don't want to mar my time with a major economic crash, but sooner or later it has to come. And I don't know on whose watch it's going to be. But it's getting severe. So that's what I'm basing the assumption off of, is they're running out of choice. So the creation of cryptocurrency and then stablecoins had to have been a boon for them. It took them a while to figure this out, if you think about it. But when somebody figured out that they could do it this way, they had to have been like, it had to have been hallelujah. We got one more.
I guess I just don't fully understand how the stable coins are related. Like, I don't understand how it could prop it up.
The demand of stable coins in countries like Africa that have no banking system, he wants to promote the use of them in these third world countries, and he wants to attach the U.S. dollar to the stable coins so they can...
Yeah, but the thing is, the U.S. dollar value doesn't depend on the stable coin. It's vice versa. The stable coin's value depends on the... So that's why I don't understand how it props it up. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. Can you explain it?
It really comes down to supply and demand. They want to increase the supply so that they can keep going all these other things that they're doing. That's, printing money. That's increasing the supply. What they also need to do is create demand to balance that out so that the value of the dollar doesn't crash on their time. So the stable coins, so long as there are new buyers of dollars in other countries through stablecoins, the demand that the stablecoin institutions create, because according to the new laws that recently passed that regulate stablecoins in the United States, they have to actually buy U.S. treasuries.
Oh.
That is how they do it.
I didn't know that part. That makes a lot of sense.
That's really crazy.
Yeah, I guess I didn't add that part in. Yeah.
I never got to reading those laws that passed. I was just like, okay, the Genius Act probably stupid, and the Clarity Act probably unclear. Well, thank you so much for the call, Creighton, because that was a lot of information that
I agree.
Really wanted to hear.
Creighton had a lot of good information for us. Thank you, Creighton, for the call.
It was a good break from the other stuff we've been talking about.
Oh, yeah. And I just didn't want to leave Alu hanging for too long. Alu in Virginia, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hey, I'm going to bring you back to the crap after the enlightening, brilliant analysis of Creighton.
Okay.
And the particular crap I want to talk about is conservative liberty activist, very similar to me, who looked like me, who was also a young father of two with a wife, was shot in the neck.
Mm-hmm.
So that's not good. And yeah, it upset me, and I'm still upset about it. And I've been saying for years, like 5-10 years now, that things are going to get worse and worse, and the left is going to be killing those on the right. And you can either get killed or fight back, and everyone gets killed, killing each other, or peacefully separate. That's why I made that my life's mission. And every day it gets more and more clear. So it's frustrating that some people, it's a small minority now, but some on the right are saying we need to unite. We all need to take a deep breath and calm down and unite and get together and sing Kumbaya. And others rightfully point out Charlie Kirk was the guy who said, let's debate, let's talk, and peacefully exchange ideas and have democracy and all that. And you shot him in the neck, killed him. So maybe we can't talk and get along because we fundamentally disagree, which comes down to it. We all have to agree that the right and left fundamentally disagree, or liberty and libertarians and authoritarians, whatever you want to say. So peaceful separation is the only solution that's not very, very deadly. And I think more than anything else right now in the last week, a lot on the right, even I think like Matt Walsh, Ben Shapiro, a lot of others, the Tim Pool, a lot of them are pretty much saying like we cannot coexist. I think even like a lot of people in Congress, Thomas Massie kind of said Trump should tone down the rhetoric, which I'm not thrilled about. But I think Mike Lee or some others, some senators have said like we cannot coexist with those who won't talk to us and will kill us if we want to talk to them.
Then why do they hate the idea of state secession so much? It's
That's what I want to know.
We just don't have to be connected to California. You know what I mean?
Well, the D.C. politicians, everyone, but especially D.C. politicians or those with federal aspirations, they want the empire to stay together because they want to be ruling, or at least in the inner circle of ruling the empire. But I got to double check, but I think Senator Mike Lee, who's one of, maybe the most for liberty or one of the most for liberty, and he's actually from Utah also, so that's maybe another thing where it hits home for him. I think he might have insinuated something that, about peaceful separation, like we can't coexist with them. But a lot of other big profiles, big accounts on X have been just like taking polls of can we unite or do we need to separate? And people are overwhelmingly saying we got to separate.
Well, thank you so much for the call, Alu. More Free Talk Live coming up, 603-283-6160. See, we can talk to people without getting really annoyed with them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
603-283-6160. Please call in and bring up whatever's on your mind. The Charlie Kirk shooting, maybe different things Donald Trump's doing. You got any thoughts on those? 603-283-6160. More Free Talk Live coming up.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
From Feature Story News in Washington, I'm Tony Waterman, and this is the Week in Review. This week was dominated by the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk on a university campus in Utah on Wednesday. Kirk was an icon of the MAGA movement and a close ally of President Donald Trump. After a 33-hour manhunt, a suspect was arrested and identified as 22-year-old Tyler Robinson. FSN's Simon Marks filed this report.
The president appeared in the studio of Fox News in New York to announce a breakthrough in the search for the killer of his friend Charlie Kirk.
I think with a high degree of certainty, we have him in custody, right? In custody.
He indicated that a priest worked with the suspect's father to secure his surrender.
A father got involved, namely his father, and said, we got to go in. And they drove into the police headquarters, and he's there now.
There had been growing pressure on the FBI to find the college-age gunman who was seen fleeing from a rooftop overlooking Charlie Kirk's event.
Israel this week attacked Hamas leaders inside Qatar, which has been helping to mediate ceasefire negotiations. President Trump issued a rare rebuke to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, telling reporters he wasn't thrilled about the way the attacks went down. In an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council, Qatar's prime minister accused Israel's government of not caring about the hostages held by Hamas, but vowed to continue pushing for a ceasefire in Gaza. FSN's Blake Sifton reports from Tel Aviv.
The Security Council issued a joint statement expressing deep concern over the strike, emphasizing de-escalation and recognizing what it called the vital role Qatar has played in mediation efforts. Meanwhile, Israel's ambassador to the UN reiterated warnings that Israel could target Hamas and Qatar again. Either Qatar condemns Hamas, expels Hamas, and brings Hamas to justice, or Israel will, he said.
The Jeffrey Epstein saga continued to grab headlines this week. The UK ambassador to the US, Peter Mandelson, was sacked on Thursday after new information emerged about his relationship with Epstein, a convicted sex offender accused of trafficking young girls. FSN's Kate Fisher has more.
US lawmakers released a number of documents this week, including a letter from Peter Mandelson in which he called the disgraced financier his best pal. Lord Mandelson served as a key link between UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer and Donald Trump and has been credited with helping the UK to escape the worst of the Trump tariffs. But the timing of this is diplomatically awkward for the special relationship, given that President Trump will travel to the UK for a state visit next week.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
Got Telegram? You can follow our channel there and discuss show prep with other listeners at telegram.freetalklive.com.
It's Free Talk Live, talk radio that you control, 603-283-6160. And wow, I can't believe the opinions people have about guns online. Like I put on Twitter, got my first gun today, and it was born in New Hampshire because it's a Sig Sauer. And people are saying stuff like, nice, hopefully your second one will be an actually good gun. I had no idea.
A good gun is one that's in your hand when you need it.
Yes,
that works.
absolutely.
That's the best.
Absolutely.
The best gun you could have is the one you have when you need one. That's I hate this. If you want to get super niche about it, sure, we could talk about that all day.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as it's not like a high point, there's like a threshold of money you have to spend.
Mm-hmm.
But once you meet that threshold, and you're in that sphere of quality that you spend enough money on the quality of firearm, like it doesn't matter. It's what you feel comfortable with in your hands.
Yeah, and it's
and what you can be effective with in the, you know what I mean? And it does because at the end of the day, a gun's a tool. It's like a hammer or a saw or a drill. It's a tool that you need, right? For some applications. And it's just, not everybody wields the same hammer. You pick out the hammer that you like that works the best for you. For the situation you don't use a sledgehammer to put a fence board in.
No.
Yep, and plenty of people have this gun, like lots and lots of women that I know have this gun.
Yeah, it's a huge woman. It's one of the top selling handguns for concealed handguns for women, especially smaller people with smaller hands on the market. Yeah, the P365 is awesome. The 320s having issues. That's the one that keeps going off randomly.
Oh, people keep asking me, is it not the P320, right? And
No,
they
it's
keep
the
saying like, well,
365.
don't drop it. And I'm just like,
Yeah, there's a
whatever.
serious issue. SIG has to do some work on those pistols. It's really scary, actually.
That is terrifying, yeah.
Especially after their whole... They got millions and millions of dollars from the federal government, and now the pistol doesn't work right.
Interesting.
That's what happened. Well, it's always the cheapest bidder, right? It's not the best gun. It's the cheapest gun.
Well, that one's like way cheaper.
No. Like if you're bidding, if it's a military bid, they're not going to bid on the best gun. They're going to bid on the gun that does the job for the least amount of money.
Oh,
right?
I see.
That's
Like you're getting the money either way.
Yeah,
you
getting
don't have to
the
make the best gun. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like when the government gives you money to build a road and suddenly it costs another $1 million. Well, with you on the show tonight on Free Talk Live, you've got me, Bonnie.
Angelo.
And Riley.
And this from the Financial Times.
Another reputable news source.
Yeah, I had to use archive.ph in order to even read this because it was like paywalled.
Paywalled, yes.
U.S. companies put brakes on hiring after Donald Trump's tariffs hit. Industries most exposed to rising costs caused by trade wars launch wave of job cuts. And we had a caller call in and talk to us about how the tariffs, in his opinion, are a way to to force companies' hands into moving manufacturing here. And I have seen that, like, maybe it was Samsung and some other big people.
Hyundai, where they just arrested all those Hyundai workers, was a new plant that Hyundai had just opened up in Georgia on part of this new tariff plan Trump's implemented, trying to get Japanese auto manufacturers to open plants in rural America.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
So they're essentially shooting themselves in their foot by having Koreans arrested.
Yeah, that was a really silly. I think some of it had to do with like overused visas and I don't know. It's the bureaucrats never talk to each other. They just it's marching orders. We need X amount of people arrested. Well, we know people are here, so let's go get them, boys.
Yeah, I only barely heard about that news. I didn't read up on it.
Yeah, they got released and they're going home to South Korea.
Oh. But a caller did call in to say this is just a grand plan for Trump, but he ultimately wasn't, saying that it's a great idea of Trump's. He's saying it's just a way to kick the can down the road, as they say.
Which every president does.
Yeah, because the United States dollar is built on nothing. It's a fiat currency, meaning that it has no intrinsic value. It's only valuable because they say so.
And will invade your country if you say it's not.
And that's why sometimes it's propped up by war. Sometimes it's propped up by firing somebody at the, what is it called? The Federal Reserve. So that way, not the Federal Reserve. It was a different one. Whatever.
No, I thought it was the Fed. I thought it was a board member of the Fed.
Yeah, whatever he's going to try to do in order to get them to lower interest rates. Sometimes the can's kicked down the road by other things, like even like presidents that have opened up just like quote unquote jobs that they created, like the Tennessee Valley Authority thing. There's all kinds of little stupid little tricks up their sleeves. But our last caller, Creighton, or the caller from last segment, Creighton, said that he thinks this tariff thing is just another way to kick the can down the road. And also the stable coins idea, which most crypto users have never really liked the idea of stable coins, and they always just seem like they're going to have an evil use case. Sounds like it's true. Sounds like that's what's happening.
Well, when they can control your currency and what you can buy and what you can sell, that's how they get you.
Yep.
Oh, I get it now. Yeah, since it has to be tied to the dollars. Yeah, that makes sense. I see what Creighton's saying.
So,
yeah, that's super evil, but that's the thing. The bank is always gonna try to is gonna go after every facet that isn't within the realm of the bank, because they can't have you holding wealth that exists outside of them, because then they can't. It all comes back to control.
Well, if it is true that Trump wants to just bring more manufacturers here, it's like a sick sign, if nothing else. If it has nothing to say about Donald Trump himself, it's just a sick sign in general that they think that the dollar's crashing soon and life will be turned upside down and nothing like what any of us living have experienced, like Great Depression stuff, and the only way to make money is going to be to go work in a factory, go mine coal, literally. And you should get into crypto and gold now and save as much of your wealth as you could possibly save. Save as much of the value of your earned wealth is that you can possibly save, because this is not a very good sign, to say the least. The American industries most exposed to trade turmoil have slammed the brakes on hiring and in many cases begun to lay off workers, causing growth in the U.S. labor market to grind to a halt. This is from Financial Times. Sectors including manufacturing, wholesale retail, and energy have experienced a wave of job losses in recent months that executives blame in large part on President Donald Trump's sweeping levies that have increased costs and made it difficult to commit to expansion plans. It doesn't sound like it's working out if he's just trying to bring manufacturing here. Like, I just don't understand how this is a plan that way. But we have a caller on the line, so I'm going to go to the phones. Unscreened caller, you're on Free Talk Live. What's on your mind?
Hello. Yes. The main reason I think that Charlie shooting happened is...
Uh-oh, you're breaking up there.
Yeah, you're breaking up pretty bad, caller.
Hang on 1 second. Okay, I'll walk into an area where it's better.
Actually, sounds better already.
Yes, good. Okay, the number one thing that happened when that guy shot
Charlie Kirk
was he suffered from eating food all his life that lacked minerals, because the soil in this country has been so over-farmed for 100 years that our food lacks minerals. And the key mineral, now we've done studies. I work in the prison system. We've done studies on guys that are in prison for murder. And almost every single one of them, when we do a hair test on them.
Is it zinc?
No. When that's a good guess. When we test their hair for minerals, the one mineral that they're most deficient in is lithium. That's the reason people commit murders. That's the reason all these mass shootings are happening. These people, a lot of these people are simply deficient in zinc. And because they have so many studies on this issue, you can almost spell it out saying anybody that's deficient in lithium is going to end up getting into a violent situation where somebody may be murdering.
Wow.
People who swear at people are usually deficient in lithium. People on the left tend to be more deficient in lithium than people on the right.
Interesting.
And
is that why they use lithium as an antipsychotic?
That's what I wanted to ask. Diseases caused by deficiency of lithium. So this guy, Tyler Robinson, who shot Charlie Kirk, had a deficiency of lithium. Fortunately, he's still alive, so we can get a test of his hair to confirm if this is true.
Wow.
So this is exactly why he did it. He did it because he had a deficiency of lithium, and he went off. There was another guy who did a murder the same day, and his name was Carlos Brown, who stabbed that Ukrainian woman in North Carolina. He told his sister, "I do not know why I stabbed her. I do not know what I was doing, and I'm sorry about it." He apologized for murdering that Ukrainian woman. And this was tape recorded by his sister, and it's being broadcast on the internet. So these murders like this are being done by people with a shortage of lithium who go off for odd reasons.
Is it the same thing whenever somebody is like psychotic and they they get prescribed lithium? Is it the exact same chemical?
Well, the reason doctors prescribe lithium to people with mental problems is because doctors have discovered that it works. Lithium is a mineral that's on the periodic table. It is an organic, natural mineral. It's not a drug. Everybody thinks lithium's a drug. It is not a drug. It is you get it over the counter in health food stores. You should go and buy one and take one at night. For men, it's really useful to take at night for sleeping because men dream in black and white. But if you take a lithium, it causes your dreams to be slightly palely technicolor. So my dream, I take it, I've been taking it every night for 40 years. My dreams are slightly pastel technicolored colors, sometimes, not always, but so there's all kinds of advantages to using lithium. If we could get parents to using lithium today, and they would understand the value of it, they would then give it to their children when the children are 1 or 2 years old. And if we raise our kids on lithium for 5, maybe 10 years, the whole mass shooting epidemic that is sweeping this country for years now will go away in 5 or 10 years. It may take that long to get rid of this epidemic of mass violence, but we can do it if all the parents will give their kids lithium. But first, the parents have to take the lithium so they experience it themselves, so they know it's positive, so they have a good experience with it, and then they understand it and they go, hey, this is good stuff. And you don't get any high from it other than men get technicolor dreams. But there's a lot of mental illness problems go away in this society if we had lithium in our diet. We don't have it because the food is anemic. Our food has been over-farmed. There's nowhere to get lithium. There's no plant, no source of lithium other than going to a health food store and buying a bottle of it. That's it. Sorry about that.
Whoa.
But any questions?
Well, that answers the question.
That's an interesting...
Well, does it have anything to do with like lithium batteries? I know they found all
what
that.
What it has to do with is Tyler Robinson shot Charlie Kirk because he was deficient on lithium.
No, I understand. I was just thinking about like lithium deposits within the soil, like across the U.S. Is this like the same lithium that they mine for, like to make batteries with?
Well, yeah, it's the same mineral. It's on the periodic table. It's
right.
I think it gets depleted, like he's saying, because
from the
people,
topsoil, right? From monoculture.
Yeah,
monocrop agriculture.
Growing the same thing over and over. And also another thing is glyphosate and lots of other things like it are literally metal chelators. They go into the soil and destroy metal.
That's a very good point. Yes, you're absolutely right. Thank you for mentioning that.
No, you're right. I see what's going on. I'm tracking.
I didn't know there's no source of it outside of taking a supplement.
It's called Rare Earths. It's a study of 1,000 prisoners who are in prison for murder, and it's a study of their hair samples.
Wow.
So we know scientifically this is why people like Tyler Robinson do what they do.
Wow.
And why all the mass shootings are happening in this country. The guns are not the problem. You can stop fighting over the Second Amendment issue, because if we simply supplement our kids with lithium for 5 or 10 years, the mass shootings will go away. The gun craziness will go away. Seriously. I've looked at this problem I've worked in the prison system for 30 years, and so I know a lot about people who commit murders. I've worked on a lot of murder cases. I'm an investigator, and I've worked on a lot of murder cases. So.
Wow, that is so interesting.
Could you draw a connection between that and like mass violence, like in the Middle East and places where they've overfarmed their land for the past 3,000, 4,000 years?
Yeah, absolutely.
So all the lithium, that's why somebody would go blow themselves up, is because they don't have the right amount of lithium.
That's right. There's all kinds of problems.
Yeah, see, that makes sense. That's tracking.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if anybody's done the study in the Middle East, hair studies, but that would be good to have hair studies done in different countries. We do it in this country because we have the science to do it. I have a PhD in biology, and so I studied this stuff for years because I raised 7 kids, and I needed to know how to raise them healthy-wise. So this is a different point of view on why this guy shot Charlie Kirk. It seemed to be, from the media description of this guy, Tyler Robinson, he seemed to be normal, except that he wasn't, because his parents were feeding him food that was deficient in lithium. And if they had been supplementing him with lithium each night, he would not have done this. So all your parents listening, I hope you hear this. More importantly, take your own lithium yourself so you learn about it. And this is I guess this is a different point of view on why Robinson shot. I'm working on the Tyler Robinson defense case. So I'm trying to walk him out of prison because he was innocent, actually, morally, mentally, and scientifically. He was innocent, except that his parents didn't give him lithium. So he did what he did, not of his own volition. He had no criminal intent. No mens rea. He had no intent to kill Charlie Kirk. So this is a different point of view, of course, than you've probably ever heard.
Well, thank you so much for the call. I don't know that I can agree that means that he isn't liable for what he physically did with his own body, but because like once you become an adult, shouldn't you be worrying about your own supplements? Like most people aren't. And another thing that I thought of that could possibly be, do you guys want to have anything else to say to the caller before? Because I don't want to hang up on him if you wanted to say anything.
He did. No, I'm okay.
I thought he was an excellent caller. I don't have anything to add to him, so
yes, I really appreciate that call, so thanks so much for the call. But one thing that I thought of similarly, that no one's been listening to me for weeks and I've been like looking crazy on Twitter and I don't care, is the hormones that these trannies take. They're really irresponsible with them, and they'll wipe them all over surfaces in their own houses and drug their pets on accident with testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone all the time. So the fact that somebody in his house was beginning a transition and then he goes crazy and goes and shoots someone, it wouldn't surprise me at all if this person was like buying topical estrogen and like touching the same silverware as Tyler Robinson, if I actually believe that Tyler Robinson did it, because I always have multiple things going in my head at once.
I feel like I just heard earlier today, I didn't watch the videos or anything. I needed to take we had a day at the gun store. I wasn't worried about I wasn't looking at the breaking news. Maybe that's sorry guys, being on a news show, not looking at breaking news.
Sometimes you just need a day.
Yeah, I just today was a day for me, right? For my friends and family, because that's important too. But something about that they've arrested multiple people connected to Tyler Robinson. They've been questioning folks that he may not have acted alone. They're really looking at like those tweets that we were sharing with each other.
Like somebody said, Charlie Kirk is going to be at my school tomorrow. I hope somebody shoots him. And then right after he got shot, they said we did it.
No.
Oh, that was one. It was by
the
a
other
tranny.
one that said, Charlie Kirk's going to be at my school tomorrow. I wish somebody would just like evaporate him. And then it said, never mind, something big's going to be happening tomorrow.
Yeah, I quoted it wrong, but yeah, we're talking about the same one.
Yeah.
And that ended up being a tranny. But then
went
as soon
to
as
the
it
school.
happened, and as soon as it happened, there was like, holy crap. Well, first they tweeted like, holy crap. But I swear it wasn't me. And then they start trying to wipe their stuff, but the internet's forever.
Yeah, because it wasn't them, but they knew.
Yeah, maybe that could possibly be it. Yeah,
I think they're
they'd be in a group.
Yeah, they would be in a group. Why would they? Don't they connect with people like LGBT groups on campus?
There are actually like trans groups that are for
like communist
violent.
Trans groups.
Yeah, that are all about being violent. And they have their own symbols and their own websites and stuff like that. So that could possibly be it. The thing is that like the thing that throws a wrench in that theory is that the fact that like Tyler Robinson wasn't trans, but then we hear that his roommate was trans and might be his boyfriend. So who knows? I think the estrogen is just as good of a thought as the lithium. I'd never heard that, so it's so interesting, so fun to hear. The reason I guess zinc is because I've been seeing so many people talk about zinc depletion causing men to be apathetic, basically. So that's why my guess was zinc.
Oh, maybe I need more zinc in my diet.
The other day I took a zinc lozenge when the back of my throat started seeming like it was hurting, and I did not end up getting sick. It stopped hurting, and I never ended up getting sick.
Yeah, zinc's good for you. Phineas and Ferb.
I don't remember that.
This is what the Loch Ness Monster fed on zinc.
On
the lake episode.
I guess.
Zinc is supposed to be good for them.
Nice.
Good for Loch Ness monsters.
Yep, good for Loch Ness monsters. That's what they crave.
Well, this story from the APnews.com.
Reputable news source.
Silicon Valley enabled brutal mass detention and surveillance in China. Internal documents show. So people are always talking about how the Chinese government's the worst, but it seems like not that it's the government, but the tech moguls and the people out in Silicon Valley are actually aiding them.
Ramaswamis.
Yeah, are actually aiding them. It says the body camera hung from the top of the IV drip, recording the slightest twitch made by Yang Guliang. Sorry, I'm not going to get the name right. I'm not from there. As he lay bloody and paralyzed in a hospital bed after a police beating with bricks. By then, surveillance was nothing new for the Yang family in rural China, snared in an intricate network based on U.S. technology that spies on them and predicts what they'll do. And, here's the government connection, the United States government connection. They often fund, oh, you're a really smart little science guy. Here's $10,000 to work on a rocket or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's all DARPA funded black site technology that the government just doesn't find enough use for in the moment, so they go sell it to Chinese.
It seems like the United States government is funding its own political enemies so they can have a boogeyman as well.
Well, no,
we
use the same technology, dude. The Flock cameras. They're all over the country right now. Look it up. Flock.us. There's a website called Flockblock.
Oh, cool.
So now there's a website, you can look them up. They're tracking every single Flock camera in the country. Flockblock. Look
really
it
cool.
up. So you can avoid them if you so choose. But Flock is the same technology. Dude, we have it here. This isn't new. We're not funding our political opponents. We're just giving them the same technologies we already use on our own citizens. Flock is a private company that has given access to 40,000 cameras across the United States to different police organizations It tracks your car. It tracks the if you get a dent in your car, it'll pick that up and catalog it as a change to your vehicle. If you have a cracked windshield, it'll catalog it. Any changes to your who's driving, it'll catalog it. Flock is a horrifying system. So we have that here. The U.S. government's no different.
Unfortunately, I can't easily and quickly find FlockBlock because it's not flockblock.com. That doesn't exist. And then apparently Purina sells
the chicken feed
called the FlockBlock.
Yeah, they do.
That's
I sold
funny.
a lot of those, actually. Probably, I used to load pallets of those into people's trucks. Hundreds of thousands of pounds moved.
I'll have to, when I'm not doing the radio show, I'll have to type in more words to try to find the actual FlockBlock we're looking
Google
for.
probably buried it already.
Yeah, that's a good point. But I did see a video of this guy talking all about the Flock thing, and it was a really long deep dive. I wish I could say who it
Flock's
was.
terrifying. The police have already
he
used it.
Was using AI to do a thing that was basically using their system against them. So if I can find out who it is, maybe I'll put it in the show notes or something. And you can watch that because he was kind of going at the attack on them too. So there's lots of people on this, at least. That's good to know. And maybe you can help if you find the FlockBlock website that I couldn't find. Free Talk Live. You can go to freetalklive.com for more. Thanks for listening. Peace.
Nobody loves their cable company except for internet access. I'm Holland Cook with Inflation Hacks. To find what you want to watch, rather than the several hundred channels your cable or satellite menu force feeds you, explore cordcuttersnews.com. It's a buyer's guide for spending less or spending nothing on television. Founder Luke Bouma told me that for the vast majority of Americans, everything they want to watch is available streaming. The only reason many still subscribe to cable or satellite is live sports, and many team channels now offer streaming. Some cord cutters do end up paying cable-sized money, but what they end up with is 100% their menu. How are you coping? Post your inflation hacks at andyoucanquoteme.com.
Protection.
Eleutheromania.